Hey everyone, you're listening to the official podcast of 4PlayerNetwork.com. Check us out at that address for everything you need to know about our community, monthly giveaways, and nightly live streams. You can even support us on Patreon at patreon.com/4Player. And last but not least, you can catch the live recordings of these podcasts every single Thursday night on our Twitch channel. We hope to see you there. Enjoy. Jesus Christ, the look on Chris
Fucking start!
The look on Chris Davis' face is freaking me out.
Hey everyone, welcome to 4Player Podcast. This is episode 583. It is Thursday, December.
Fire him! Get out of here!
December 27th, 2018.
My
This is
name
your
is
host-
Nick Henderson, joined tonight by Christopher Davis.
We actually doing this?
Yeah, fuck
Okay,
it, that's the
fuck
show.
it, okay.
Christopher Davis,
Hello.
Nolan Hedstrom,
How's it going, everybody?
Christopher Guthridge.
Hello.
Brad Simons is not here this evening. Unfortunately, he has a sick child at home, so he is missing the last podcast of 2018. Boo. That's okay. He has a viable excuse.
Did he also miss the first podcast of 2018?
Probably.
You know,
possible.
Probably.
He has missed a number of podcasts this year.
That was, I think, in the midst of. Yeah, because didn't he come back from his little hiatus to be part of like the award show or
think so,
whatever?
yeah.
Yeah, I think he did. Missed the first and the last podcast of the year.
Fucking
The
guy.
point is, Brad doesn't love you. It's okay. You've got us here for you.
Exactly. We will be here for you to fill your ear holes with video game discussion. A couple things I do want to mention, of course, if you're watching us live, if you were not aware, we have a Discord that we would love you to be a part of. Head on over to discord.gg/4player, sign up there, hang out with us, talk about video games, talk about movies, talk about all kinds of weird random shit in the general channel. Whatever floats your boat, we would love to have you in there. I also want to
Should
say...
I grab something out of general?
Sure,
Like,
grab
I-
the most random shit
I don't.
you can
Well, no,
find.
like just like the last thing in there. I don't like announcing that we're gonna do it because then people will like cater
What they say.
What they say.
Yeah.
So you
But
just
that means
gotta-
you can't do it every show because then people will expect it and they will start
Well, yeah.
to do
Well, I
that.
figured this is the last podcast of 2018. Let's just grab the last thing that was in general. Sorry, I had to like re-sign into Discord. All right. So the last thing that was in general.
Oh, God. This better be good.
9/10. That doesn't count. Fuck, I forgot that Blackout is the Call of Duty 4 hashtag.
That should go in the gaming channel.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Well, I'd have to scrub through it to find. I mean,
Find some weird shit.
Here's a photo of Chippendale Rescue Rangers, the female like
Gadget?
Gadget. That's weird. Why would you post that?
Dude, there's like a whole religion based around her.
Ooh,
that can't be real.
I don't know the context of this,
it's real.
but the comment is, "I'll train mostly females. There's a shortage of female trainers in the company, hence the $1,500 bonus they're shoving down our throats."
What could they be talking about?
I don't know.
Ooh, head on over to discord.gg/4player to find out, maybe. I don't know. And anyways, this is the last podcast of 2018. It's been a year,
Yeah,
right?
it has.
It's been a year. There's been a lot of fucking...
Nearly 365 days.
Yes, there's been a lot of fucking video games. First of all, before I go too far, how was everybody's Christmas?
It was good. How was your Christmas, Nick?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Get anything cool?
I got a new Switch dock.
Oh.
He's a big fan of donking.
Well, I got
Every year, I more and more so envy Kevin McAllister.
Oh, for being left home alone?
Yeah,
at
just
Christmas?
being alone, watching movies, playing
yeah.
video. Like, just
Did you watch Home Alone on Christmas?
I did not.
I did.
I did.
Ooh,
I did.
These guys.
That movie doesn't make any sense.
No, no, it doesn't.
I mean, it's
But
just
because
a
people
murderous
love-
little child.
But because people love Christmas and are inherently violent, they love that
I
movie.
will say, I still love the theme song.
I know.
Was
Oh,
it
yeah.
a theme song?
Yeah, like the,
Now, did you watch it?
Okay, it was more of on while we were doing things.
Okay, it was on. That's why you watched it. Because Macaulay Culkin, he's on a comeback thing going right now.
He is, yeah.
Isn't his comeback thing just like constantly like, yes, I'm the guy from Home Alone, but I'm nothing like the guy from Home Alone? Isn't that
I think
kind
it's
of
more
his
so that
shtick
he's
now?
now that he's off drugs and clean and in a good place, he's getting himself out there.
Oh, I
again.
thought his
Yeah.
thing was that he was on
No.
drugs and
No,
not
no.
clean.
He's clean now.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
If you haven't seen him, he looks drastically better, and he's been making appearances on a lot of like talk shows and podcasts, and
He was
you
on
know.
Red Letter Media recently.
Yeah.
He was
Wow.
on the Angry Video Game Nerd.
That's good. You know what? Good for him.
I don't know if he had some sort of contract with them because it all happened within the span of a few days.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, within a few days, he was just popping up on everything.
His publicist.
I'm sure his publicist
Yeah.
was like, "Hey, you can only
Got
post
him
this
out.
after
Hey,
whatever."
it's Christmas time, and we have
That's true.
Macaulay Culkin. Let's get
they
him on
did
everything we
that.
can.
No, that's probably 100% it. It happened like a week before Christmas. He just popped up everywhere, and I bet you Home Alone sales went through the roof.
Yep, you're probably right. Do y'all have Christmas movies that y'all, or did y'all watch any other Christmas movies that you
I did
want to
not.
mention? No, nothing
Christmas movies, I ain't got time for because I've got to play video games for the end of the year.
That's true. I did play a lot of games.
Every
this weekend.
movie that I could go watch, I'm like, that's 2 hours I could put into God of War or something else.
I will say that one of my favorite days this weekend was I didn't turn on my computer. So I wasn't distracted by Twitter or Slick Deals or a YouTube hole, and I just turned on my PS4 and I played Red Dead for like 8 hours.
Yes.
And I was like, yeah.
Did you finish it?
Yeah, I did.
Awesome. Crispy, did you finish it?
No.
God damn it, Crispy!
that's,
Come on, man. We're waiting on
YouTube
you.
is the bane of my existence.
Yeah.
Dude,
Just
you
because there's so many YouTube holes I
You
fall
don't
into.
understand, man. I stopped watching TV shows. Like, I've just been watching The Office and King of the Hill a lot, and I just stopped. And I've only been
and
watching
SpongeBob,
YouTube.
evidently.
My YouTube is getting weird, man.
The
Like, my
recommended.
recommendation. Like,
Oh, yeah.
It's getting weird. Like, I'm just watching normal stuff, and then all of a sudden I get diverted. Like, one day I was watching like cooking shows or something, and then by the end of the day I was watching like compilations of like deadly crashes and races and stuff.
Jesus.
Like, it's fucking weird. YouTube just like sends you down these really weird branches.
I watched
the algorithm is fucked.
literally-
If it wasn't for YouTube, you would have finished Red Dead Redemption 2.
It's true.
Dude, literally,
Save me from YouTube.
Come on, we need to do the spoiler cast.
Literally,
Finish it, Crispy.
today I watched a video about a type of piping that they installed in homes in like the 70s and 80s that has now been like horrible, and so it's a process of going through and replacing that with PVC.
Yeah.
And I
That's
watched a
crazy.
video about that. No fucking idea
nuts.
why. It doesn't pertain to me at
Have
all.
you guys ever seen that YouTube channel, like, How Ridiculous?
Nope.
Like, all they do is just drop stuff off of a 45-meter tower.
No.
Like, they drop stuff off of dams just to see what would happen. I mean, they all fall and
It's
hit
all
the
just
ground.
I recently started watching a bunch of videos about experts telling you which was the cheaper version of deli meats or like condiments.
Really?
Guys, what are you doing?
I found a channel that just reviews MREs.
One of my coworkers watches that while she goes to sleep
It's
every
nuts.
night.
Some of them are complicated.
I saw a channel for you the other day, Nolan. There's a guy up in Norway who is building his own house by himself. And it's just every video is one day in his life of building this damn house.
That's cool.
And he's on
Please
season
don't tell
2
me what
and
that
he's
channel
built
is.
the basement.
Oh, wow.
Has anybody watched the guy who's a former engineer from NASA who was getting packages stolen off of his door? So he made a glitter bomb.
Yeah, some of that was faked.
Yeah,
evidently.
that went viral, Nick. We also
Oh, I wasn't aware. Sorry if my YouTube hole isn't
Did
good
your
enough for
mom
you,
post
Crispy.
it on Facebook?
Yeah,
Aw.
I hate all of you.
My YouTube hole.
Yeah,
so
shove it
tight.
down your YouTube hole.
All right.
This got weird.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. I hope everybody out there who's listening to the show had a wonderful holiday. Like I said, last show of the year. I believe you know what I realized today actually. Usually on the last show of the year we do our preview show for the next
preview.
year,
Yeah.
and I was like, well, I guess it's too late to do that. So that
Well, we knew Brad wasn't going to be on the show.
That's
so-
true. Brad is not going to be here, so that wouldn't have worked out anyway. So next week, you can probably tune in and we'll do our 2019 preview show. We'll kind of go through our list of all the games that we know are coming or are expecting to come in 2019. So you can kind of have an idea of what to expect, what to look for, and what we're excited about at least. So tune in next Thursday for that.
Can't wait for Prey 2.
Oh my god, the joke will never end. All right. Of course, I do want to say, one, that we have picked a new supporter spotlight for the month. It's going to be for the month of January, but I'm going to start reading her responses today. That's Miss Elizabeth. So I think she's in chat. We're going to start reading her responses to the questions that we sent her, gaming-related questions and those kinds of things. We'll read the first responses from her during the second segment of the show. And, of course, I want to start the show off with some feedback from last week. So it's not a whole lot of it tonight, but we'll read those anyways. And also, if you have anything you want to say after anything we talk about tonight on the show, head on over to 4playernetwork.com and leave us a comment on the post for this episode, and we'll read it at the beginning of next week's show. So tonight, Thorax says, I find Nick's view on cannibalism kind of weird / interesting.
I don't remember what your view was. That it's
That never acceptable?
No, that you can do it to survive, but
it'll change you forever.
It will change you.
It will change you.
He said, although it's a human taboo in certain situations, most situations. What are you talking about?
No, keep reading.
I think it's acceptable if 1, the person you're eating is already dead. Okay, first of all, if you just stop right there, if the person is already dead, that doesn't mean it's okay to eat them. If that's the only criteria
they're not going to
you're
eat
using.
themselves.
Yeah.
Okay. While I agree, why isn't it? Like, why not?
You just gonna let
What's
the
wrong
worms
with
have
eating
them?
a dead body? Nick, what is wrong with eating a dead body?
Does that not sound gross or bad?
What
coming
is
out of-
wrong with eating a dead body? I want you to explain
I
it to me.
eat dead animals all the time. Okay. I had beef for dinner.
Yeah, but you're not. I guess.
What is beef?
Sorry, Chris Davis. You're not a cow.
I mean,
Thank
he's not wrong.
You're welcome. Anyways, moving on. He says, 2, if it's a life or death situation, there's the real kicker right there. Nick's anti-cannibalism position is based on his view that cannibalism, quote-unquote, will change you as a person. In my view, I think burning, stabbing, or shooting a living person will do more damage to my psyche than eating an already dead person for survival purposes. P.S. I really do enjoy these thought-provoking topics. First of all, I never said you shouldn't eat someone if it's a life or death situation. I just said, like, you better, like, really be desperate because you're gonna do that and it's gonna haunt you for the rest
Nick,
of your life.
if
At least it would for me. I would never be able to stop thinking about the fact that I ate a human being.
What if you didn't know it was a human?
Like if it was normal and
What are you afraid of, Nick?
I'm not afraid.
Are
of
you
anything.
afraid that you'd like it?
Like you develop the taste.
It sounds like you
The
already
hunger?
like it, Crispy. What are you talking about?
I think that's what it is. I think what you're really afraid of is
Dude,
like-
that would be the...
I think what you're really afraid of is eating a dead person and it being okay.
Okay, well, are you not scared of that?
And like everything being
Wait,
fine.
back up for a second. Are you not scared of that?
Why?
I don't think if there was some situation where I had to eat a person, I'd be like, delicious. I'm gonna go kill so
Yeah,
I can
like-
eat more.
but like-
Yeah.
Nick, I'm fairly certain if I took a good quality thigh, a little bit of salt, pepper, some rosemary, thyme, sous vide it for a little bit, hot couple seconds in the skillet, you might like
what
it.
survival situation you can have a sous vide?
Who the fuck knows?
I mean, hey, who said just because it's the end of the world doesn't mean you have to eat like a heathen?
Look, that's true. That's fair. That's fair. I'm not saying that I want to eat people.
Because it sounds like you're saying that.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying, like, I don't get why we're so against it.
I like how Thorax picked me out of the crowd to say my view on cannibalism is weird / interesting. I think Crispy's view is weird / interesting.
The whole hypothetical was based on the fact that you were in a life or death situation and there was a fresh dead corpse with you in that situation.
And I said yes, you should eat that. But I also said you're probably going to be kind of fucked up for the rest of your life.
I mean, if you're in
That's
an
what I don't
apocalypse,
get.
you're probably already fucked up.
You're the one who keeps mentioning an apocalypse. He's like mentioning he's talking about like a plane crash. Like if you were in a plane crash or something like that, or you're stranded in the mountains or something, and you had to do it to survive, and then you went back to normal society.
I'm not saying eat the whole person.
I mean, don't eat their
What
penis.
if you did? What if you just ate it down to the bone, and you're like, well, like I didn't just eat a little bit of human meat to survive. Like, what if you for the rest of your life you have to live with the fact that I ate a fucking person to the bone?
I just don't. I don't see why that's bad. No, I don't see why. I don't see why.
This is very odd.
No. I'm not saying that I don't see why cannibalism is bad. I'm saying I don't see why doing something like that to survive when it is literally hurting nobody else would be such a mental weight.
I mean, plus
Because you're not supposed to eat your own kind. You don't. That's just wrong. You don't do that.
So
Animals do
die?
that all the
so
time.
you should just die?
No. First of all, you're not hearing me. I'm saying you should do it if it's a matter of life
I mean,
and
it's
death.
the same thing. Like, if someone broke into my house and was threatening to kill me, and I had a gun and I shot them in self-defense, that would suck. I don't want to kill somebody, but I feel like if they put me in a situation where it was me or them and I killed them,
that's different.
then I would be like, okay, I think I can get over that. Like eating a person.
No,
in a
you
Also,
Somebody kill
that's
you.
not necessarily true. That shit can fuck people up.
Sure,
Just
sure.
as
I'm
bad.
not shrugging at the obvious emotional baggage of having murdered somebody, but like it would be a lot easier to handle it if they were like if they were the aggressor and they were putting you in danger and you were defending yourself. Right? Just like it'd be a lot easier to eat a person if it was literally your only option.
What if that person had tried to eat you while you were alive, and then they died?
Fuck this asshole. I'm going to eat him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gets what he deserves.
Right? Yeah.
First of all, why are y'all looking at me like I don't agree with all these statements? I'm all
Eat the person, Nick.
Eat
him.
I said you should eat him. I'm literally just trying to point out that
someone
there's going to
breaks
be
into your home, threatens your wife and kids, you kill them, then you eat them.
See, now that's totally cool.
It sends a message.
I never in a million years thought I'd be in the minority on this. I'm gonna be totally honest. Like, I thought I had a pretty normal take on the act of cannibalism. I never thought I'd have to defend that.
Your perfect veneer of a simple, peaceful world could shatter at any moment, Nick, and you're gonna have to make these choices.
Yep.
And I would
Any
make
moment.
them, but I'd never forget it. It would just be in the back of my mind. Oh my god. And then people on chat are like talking to me about being open to new ideas, and it's really creeping me out.
Why,
It's really
why are
creeping me
you
out.
so close-minded? Nick?
Just try it.
Just eat a person.
All right.
Wait, but for
gonna
the record, if you and I were in that situation and you died and I had to eat your body to live, would you be mad at me?
If it meant you lived, Crispy, no, I think I'd be fine with it.
See?
Because I'm your friend.
And I would be fine if you ate my corpse, Nick.
This is so disturbing. Let's move on to the next question.
I'm going to send you a link to an It's Always Sunny episode that covers all of this.
Covers all of it? Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
In half an hour, you've got the entire thing covered.
All right. Well, I'll check that out. Moving on. Next question. KNC Cito. You need to scroll a little
I'm
bit.
trying to find the mouse. Sorry.
Where's the mouse?
There it is.
There it is.
It's in your
Okay.
hand.
KNC Cito says, I'm happy that I managed to catch Nick playing Obra Dinn on the feed. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Much like Portal 2, I want to give this game to other people to watch them play through it. It was a delightful obsession when I played it, and watching the gears turn or not turn and seeing light bulbs turn on brings me joy. I wish I knew who the others had difficulty with. I think he means which people they
Other
had
ones
trouble
on the
identifying.
podcast that played it that had a difficulty with some parts.
And would love to see them get through it, but it's probably less stressful to play off the feed than on it. That's very true.
Accurate.
I've played most of the game off the feed at this point, and it's been a little bit less stressful doing it that way. But like I said, I'll talk about my where I stand on Obra Dinn here shortly, but I'm not going to talk about that first. So stay tuned.
Did you finish it?
I have 21 left.
no.
21 left. Wow. Hey man, I don't know about you. I think okay, let's talk about it. I don't want this to be the first game we talk about.
Okay.
I also don't want it to come across as like me not liking the game, because that is definitely as far away from the truth as
I'm
humanly
joking.
possible.
This is fine. That's fine. What are we talking
Why
about?
they gotta bring human meat into this, Nick?
Oh god.
What's wrong with cannibals?
All right.
Just trying to get by in this cruel world.
Let's get to it. We got some games we want to talk about. Nolan,
What's up, Nick?
you have our final brand new game that no one's talked about yet of the year.
That's true.
What is it?
It's called CrossCode. It is a... Ooh, man. How do you describe this game?
I don't know.
It is almost like dot hack-esque.
Dot hack?
Yeah, dot hack. Where you're playing a game and the characters you interact with are other players in this world who are you're an avatar. So it's you are a game in a game, but I don't know. There's something I don't know. Once again, yeah, Brad. This is something Brad's played, and he hasn't talked about it yet because he didn't play it enough. And I've only played maybe 4 hours, so
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely plenty more for me to play to make my opinions. But from what I have played, I don't know what's going on with the main character yet. You're kind of different for some reason, almost like you're not really a person. You're like an AI, kind of. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that part out. But this is a person I met. This person that's fighting with me, who is an actual person in the game. Not in real. See, now we're kind of getting into.
This is
a single player game.
yeah, but you're playing a character playing another game.
Kind of. Like I'm saying, that's what I said. The MC is different. The person with red hair following me in this universe is supposed to be someone playing a game.
Okay.
And they're playing with me.
Okay.
Like, to get them with me, I had to send them a direct message, and then they joined into my game. This is someone I've met before, and we've become friends, and we're doing quests together.
Okay.
The main character is a little bit different. Like I said, I don't know all of the story behind that yet.
Okay.
Still trying to figure that out. So you're in this world. So it is supposed to be like an MMO. You're on like literally on a physical island, which is weird. Like you're almost like Ready Player One-esque, where your avatars have physical manifestations in this place and blah blah blah. You go to this island and you talk to people and you get quests. And I'm currently just kind of exploring this world. I have a fairly big quest log right now of stuff that I'm trying to find. Oh, help me get this. Oh, I need 10 of this. A little bit kind of fetch questy. A little bit. Oh, can you go here?
Which is very reminiscent of an actual like MMO.
Oh yeah.
I'll say this. Like I hadn't actually seen the game in motion yet. Everything I had seen so far is screenshots. There's a lot more. Like it moves a lot quicker.
Oh yeah.
Like the characters are super mobile in ways that I wasn't really expecting going into this, which it kind of makes more sense now because Brad's initial pitch on this game was that he was like, I think I found the Hollow Knight of this year, and I was like, when I saw screenshots of it, I didn't expect it to be quite as like platformy and
so there is a lot of, and that can get
action.
kind of frustrating. Is there certain places where there are definitely puzzles in this game. I've not gotten to too many of the more intense puzzles. I've done some early level puzzles that bring into play. You saw me earlier. You have your cursor that you can kind of point somewhere and you can shoot missiles kind of at that, and those will come into play. Moving blocks and stuff, and you see me kind of jumping up and down. The world is 3D, so you have different levels of height that you have to be able to, I just now you saw me kind of make a loop up and then jump down to try to get to like a little almost like a crate with items in it.
Which it seems like that can get confusing.
It can. No, it definitely can. Trying to determine what height you're at.
And for those listening at home, who may not be able to picture this, it's the game that has kind of like a like an isometric, like retro.
It seems a lot like Ys, like classic Ys.
It's kind of like Ys, yeah. I mean, it kind of looks like a Link to the Past, kind of. It's that kind of that top-down isometric view. You're literally in, like, currently where I'm at I'm in a field. I mean, and it's like any.
But wasn't Ys turn-based combat, or is
it depends on the entry?
Yeah,
because this is definitely not turn-based. This is more like an action game, I suppose.
Yes, it is.
There were some that were turn-based, some that were actually live action.
Gotcha.
So.
But this game tries to add a lot of new mechanics. So similar to like a Devil May Cry or like a Bayonetta-esque. When you're in combat, you're constantly building this meter. That's like your combat rank. And it's very small. It's on the very top right when I'm in combat, and it starts at a D. And the more creatures I kill, it starts building up this meter,
like a character action game.
Yes, exactly. And then you get better rewards for having a better combat rating. It doesn't immediately go away. You have X amount of time after exiting combat to keep that up. It's a full RPG. You have stats. There is a skill tree that you can go down different routes, so you can kind of change it. Oh, do I want to focus more on melee combat, or do I want to focus more on ranged combat? Building up. Every time you level up, you get some skill points. I don't know if I go into the skill tree in this footage.
Does this game have like a? Would you say it has like a hook that makes this stand out, or makes it like unique within its
so
the
like
genre?
I was saying earlier, the puzzles are a big part of it. Like when you go into the dungeons, and like you're literally solving puzzles, having to move blocks, having to shoot your thing to light up this block, having to.
I'm guessing that's what Brad. I think Brad, he said in chat something about there being like basically Zelda dungeons.
Yes.
Is that kind of what you're trying to describe?
What does he say? No, because it's part based and
He's
much more
replying
storage. Oh, sorry. He's okay. But yeah, so there's a lot. There's a lot going on in this game. As you see right here, I stopped at a shop. There's different. You meet some shop. There's a lot of shops in town. That's actually kind of a frustrating part for me. A lot of times in RPGs, when you go to a town, there's like the armor and like the blacksmith and like items.
Very
but
distinct.
There'll be towns with like fucking like 20 different people who sell shit, and they only sell like a few items, and so you have to run up to each one, and you're like, wait, where's that one person that was selling that one thing that I saw that one time?
Yeah.
And a lot of them don't just like sell you stuff. You have to trade for it. So you have to have 3 of this and 4 of that, and then a little coin, and then you can trade and get the item, which I guess is kind of cool. So it's not just straight up money focused. But yeah, so now that I'm in combat, you can see on the top right there's that meter. I'm currently at a D rank because I just started combat.
Oh, and it gives you an actual ranking?
Yes, and the more combat you do and the better you do and the less you get hit, your rank will go up, so you'll get more money and stuff. And I don't know if it increases your experience. I'm not 100%. But yeah, I don't know. Do y'all have questions? I don't know what else to say about
What's
it.
the story like?
So the story, like I said, that's the kind of interesting part. Is it seems like you're special. You're not like a random. Like I said, it doesn't seem like you're an actual person. It seems like you're
your
this
avatar
kind of,
is special.
correct. Well, that's why I don't know how to explain this.
Your character doesn't log out like in .hack.
Correct. You're like
Okay.
almost like I said, like an AI. It's weird. I'm not sure where the story's going with it yet. Everyone talks about you. You're special early on when you're on the ship, and they're like, "Oh, let's train you because you don't remember. Let's make sure your memories are intact." And then this, antagonist shows up, and he's like, "Oh, you are I forget the term they use. Like, you are like the special one, and then I'm gonna like kill you, or I'm gonna take you, or whatever." And they like defend, and you defend off that guy, and then they like take you to the island where now you start your adventure, and like your avatar is like fucked up, like you don't have speech, you can only say hi. For the time being, and then as the game goes on, the kind of your man in the chair, he reminds you of like Hal, like a Hal Emmerich character, is slowly adding to your speech. Like patterns.
So you actually start to say more.
Yeah. So at first you can only say hi and like nod or shake your head yes or no. So conversations are fairly one-sided. And then you can say your name, and then the most recent one I got was like the ability to say no. So I can say hi, no, and my name or something like that, or bye, hi, bye, and my name. But yeah, so I don't know. This is one of those things, like, and I understand why Brad didn't want to necessarily talk about it right away, just because there's a lot to this game, and
it hasn't shown its cards yet.
Correct.
Clearly.
I'm not ready to make any kind of, which is like the frustrating part, is like the year's coming to an end, and I want to play so many games, but I've already started putting some time into this, and I don't want to just put this game down, but I haven't had enough time to make a decision on it yet.
Yeah.
That
is the struggle.
A lot to this game. I think I looked it up online. Like, it's not like a short game either. It's like, a 40, 50 hour game.
How much you put into it?
I'm only about 4 or 5 hours in.
Okay.
So I'm really excited to see what else is out there in this game and find out more about the story, but I just haven't had the time.
I was a little put off initially just looking at some of the promotional stuff for it, of like the art style they're going for, like the character designs and whatnot. Which
So,
I know
do you
is not
mean
reason to,
in
like,
this
not
right
play a
here, or
game.
when they're in conversations?
Well, when they're in conversations. And
So it
stuff.
is kind of like anime-esque.
Yeah, but it's also
it's definitely like, I would say, like an old school RPG, like a I don't know, like a Suikoden or something like that. I do like.
I do like anime styles in certain games, but for whatever reason, like, I don't know what it was, but
it definitely
something about the way the characters are drawn.
It does seem. I don't want to use the word budget, but it does seem like a little bit lower of a, and it is. I mean, it's an indie game.
Yeah,
It's not.
for
It's
sure.
not like something that was developed in like 4 years with like a giant team. I don't know the team size, but it's definitely a smaller.
Probably not a big one.
Yeah. So I mean, it's. I'm sorry, that's not the art that you're looking for.
I mean, it looks a lot better in motion than I was expecting, to be totally honest. It looks a lot more fast paced too, which is fun.
It is. It is very fast.
definitely
I'm gonna
looks fun.
die here. Like, combat's tough. Like, I'm not like breezing my way through this, and I think it's because I'm under leveled.
Are you actually
right
like having to kind of like physically dodge attacks on something?
Yeah, there you it is an action like RPG. You're dodging attacks.
So it requires some finesse. And
Oh
some
yeah, it definitely
precision.
does.
Is there
You have,
any parrying?
there's no parrying to my knowledge yet, at least.
Yes.
So it's dodging and blocking.
There's dodging, there's blocking, there's ranged attack, there's melee attacks, there's special attacks. I haven't gotten any like limit breaks or anything yet. But I do like the music's really good. I like all the different environments. Like right now, all this footage you see me in like a snowy place, but they're like, that's not where you start. Like, you start in like a harbor town. Like, there's like literally like a harbor. I think it's even called that. And so there's a lot of different parts to it. There's the main part where all the ships are, and then there's like a market, and then there's like there's 4 different like clans almost, and you can choose to like, oh, I want to do missions for this clan or whatever, and they all have their own like kind of styles.
Like player clans?
Yeah. And then you kind of set off into this more of like, it's called like autumn falls or something. And yeah, it's autumn. So I mean, there's like the trees, leaves are falling, and there's every area has different types of enemies. And that area you start with, there's like hedgehogs, and then like, I can't remember some other, like almost like a stove.
But they all have their own unique, like...
Yeah, and so now that I'm in this
look and feel
frosty
to 'em and
area,
stuff,
you
yeah.
see me, there's like penguins, and there's snowmen, and there's like four
Are
like
you supposed to
hares.
kill the penguins?
I have not tried to fight any of the penguins for Bernadette. But yeah, and so like I said, there's lots of different quests you'll get. You're like, hey, this person's like, hey, can you go and just get some of these things for me? Or there's like a guy who's kind of trying to study the world, and he's like, hey, I want you to discover this and this area for me, and then go back to him, and you'll get your experience and your items and your money. Or hey, I need you to help me because I was trying to deliver this stuff and these bulls like attacked me. Can you go fight off those bulls for me? Traditional like RPG kind of stuff.
Yeah. Pretty standard fare early on, but
with a little more platforming.
maybe they'll have
and,
some.
and I
tricks up their
definitely want to
sleeve
keep playing.
eventually.
It's just it's.
What are the meta game components?
How do you mean?
I mean, like you said, like the framing of this whole thing is that you're playing MMO.
Yes.
So there's a part of the game that takes place outside of that?
Not as of yet, and I think that might have something to do with the character. Like the fact that the character, I don't think is just like a person.
Well, you said like to get that person in your party earlier, you had to like send them a DM.
Correct.
And things like that.
So is there like an interface that like where you like send and receive messages
Yes.
and whatnot?
I don't go into the menus too much in this footage, but yeah, when you go into the menus, you can edit your own character, so you can switch the gear they're wearing. You can deal with the skill tree, quests, like map and stuff, and then like your other characters that on your friends list essentially. And this is the only one I've met so far. So I can only like call her, but at one point I was having difficulty because I was by myself, and then I realized like, oh shit, like I can just DM her and she'll come and like help me, and I didn't even realize that at first. That
Are you leveling your own character or leveling any companion character as well?
Yes, so you level your own character always, and if you have a companion character with you, they level as well.
Okay.
And so this, I think right here in the footage, I might teleport back to the hometown. That's why I was kind of hoping to start later in the footage. I don't think this started too much later. I only had like 16 minutes of footage.
I said like 8 minutes, but maybe that's angry me.
And there are like other players walking around?
So all of those players are just kind of like NPCs. I don't know if you can't really interact with a lot of them. They just kind of run past you. And
One thing is that I find kind of strange, especially if so you mentioned .hack a while ago, and
Yeah.
if you're making a game where you're framing it like you're playing an MMO, but you're already you are already playing a video game. You gotta, but you want to convey to the player that they are themselves a player in another world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a game within a game.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of have to like really lean into the like the things that identify it as a video game. So you have to have like interfaces that are inside of the game, and like inboxes and like
Correct.
ways that, but like
I mean, that's
if
one
they
way
don't
to
lean
do
in, but if they don't lean into it hard enough, it's just kind of like, well, all these things just sound like a video game. Like you go into a menu and you pick your player characters. It's
Like-
hard to explain what I'm trying to.
I'm sure that that's something that plays a much bigger role later on.
I hope so.
But like that's what I was saying. So first of all, I'm not like dramatically far into this game yet.
Yeah.
I'm maybe like a 20th of the way into this game, and so I think that will reveal itself later on. But like I
Yeah.
said, I don't necessarily I don't think it's like .hack in the sense that .hack was you, Nick Henderson, are playing a game that has a character that has something outside the game and then goes into a world that's in
Yeah.
the game. I don't think that's what this is. I don't think you are playing a person. I think you are playing this like AI kind of like thing. And like I said, I don't know where the story is going yet that describes that, but I don't think you are playing a person. I think this red-haired person I'm interacting with is a person that is playing this game. But I don't think you are, and that's what I'm still trying to figure out.
Well, then I think we'll we'll revisit this, I'm sure, when after the first of the year, and you and Brad have both probably had more time to play.
I would love to play enough of this to be able to judge it on like my top 10 list, but at this point, like I haven't played enough that I would feel comfortable even like considering it.
That is the tragic part about the end of the year. I'm in the same boat with like a bunch of different games, and I just had to. Like I was this close this weekend to starting Darksiders 3 just because I was like, I'd like to take that at least into consideration, and then I was like, there's
that was when you first go to games.
There's no point in trying. I mean, based on the number of things that I'm playing and capturing footage for and all this jazz, it's just there's not going to be any time. But
yeah, this is me. I went back to the hub world. You can see my quest lists and stuff like that. I think I realized that I finished a quest, so I was going to go try and turn it in to the quest provider. And that is one thing I like about this game, is because it's so big and so fast, and so like everything just starts. Like fast travel's unlocked from the very beginning. Trying not to fast travel in this game would be ridiculous, just because it is the places are fairly linear, and so to try and run from point A to point B would take you way too long. Yeah. So it's just like fast travel is like immediately unlocked, and you can just you can fast travel between certain points. And yeah, it's like there are fetch quests. I don't know. I'm not yet at a point to where I can say if I should be doing every single quest in the game, or if I should be trying to limit them to only do certain quests or whatever. Like I said, it does seem like I'm kind of under-leveled at this moment. And so I don't know if the answer is, should I be completing more quests to get experience, or should I be doing more combat to get experience? I don't know yet.
Gotcha.
I definitely am going to give this game more thought.
All right, well, we'll come back. Yeah. We'll double back around to CrossCode after the first of the year.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Krispy, you've been playing a little. Did you try Celeste out?
Ooh,
I did. Haven't we talked about Celeste?
Yeah, we have
a long time ago when it first came out. When I played it,
that was
Brad played it.
That was early in the year, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a while ago.
How is Celeste going?
Man, I really don't have.
How far are you?
I shouldn't have put it on the dock.
Oh, no.
I don't have enough to talk about. Like I played.
Yeah, so
I don't really understand how the game is structured, because there's like chapters.
Mm-hmm.
But it feels like the world is open.
Not necessarily. So you can backtrack, and so I looked it up because I have on my list of games I played. I always have the release date on there. Came out January 25th.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little while ago. So the world, when you look at the map, you can see all the different levels you can go to, and you can backtrack. But backtracking is really just there's like hidden like items and stuff that you need later on to unlock shit. Yeah. So that's why you can backtrack. The story is fairly linear. The story in this game is you just go to the next level and you beat that level and you unlock some story content, and you just keep going until like the end, when you get the final kind of what's going on in this world.
Yeah.
But yeah, while you can backtrack to previous levels, that's not like it's pretty linear actual gameplay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I started playing yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm really into it so far.
Is it
it's
hard?
A lot of fun. It's tricky. Like
it's pretty tough.
There's a lot of like I've gotten to some rooms where I've had to take 10, 12, 20, 30 times to get through it.
The nice thing is you respawn pretty quick. It's pretty like it's
very
it's
Meat Boy
super
in that
Meat Boy-esque, where you're like you die, you immediately get back into it.
But I kind of like, I don't have a whole lot of experience with Super Meat Boy. Super Meat Boy to me feels a little more like quick. Like it just feels more like Super Meat Boy feels more like you're just like flinging yourself around and like getting to the goal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Celeste feels a little more precise in like its platforming.
Oh, it definitely is.
Like all the climbing mechanics,
especially
and
so you unlock
dashing.
more and more skills the later you get in the game, and so then having to then combine those skills to kind of maneuver your way around areas and stuff.
Yeah, and I also got through the first like dream sequence last night too, which is really cool because there's all these like blocks that are made of like stars and shit like that you can like, the puzzle becomes like you can dash through them.
Yeah.
When you do your dash mechanic, when you go through that material, it like shoots you out the other side.
Yeah, it shoots you out the other side and like recharges your dash. So a lot, but you can't like whatever direction you go into the material, you just continue in that direction. So like if you shoot through it and there's like a wall on the other side, you'll die. So you have to be like really careful about like how you position yourself and how you angle yourself. And they've already gotten like really deep and involved with a lot of like the platforming mechanics in the first like hour or two that I've been playing. I'm really into it though.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Oh God.
You're fine. But yeah, no, one of the biggest puzzle mechanics is the fact that you have a double jump.
Yeah. So you have yeah, right?
I think you unlock maybe a triple jump later. So I can't remember what it is. But yeah, so I mean the whole point is you can only jump so many times and then you're out of jumps, and if you didn't get to where you're going, you die.
You have like a
cling to
jump
wall.
and a dash.
Yeah.
You can
or maybe you get a
you-
double jump later. Maybe you only have one right now.
Yeah, I think I only have one jump.
I think
right
later on you unlock a second one.
I've got the jump and the directional dash.
Okay, then yeah, I think you unlock another jump later. But there are things in the world that it is similar to like the messenger or something, that if you interact with something midair, it will recharge your jumps and stuff like that. And so yeah, it's definitely
There's
it's
like those floating green crystals you can jump
yeah,
through.
it's
and they
definitely
reset.
a puzzle platform game where you're trying to time your jumps just right, and later on they get pretty fucking
Game's
challenging.
getting a
then,
lot
like-
of buzz. Like,
So
But
you can
it's like
climb
the
walls, Carlos, but
climbing, yeah.
only so far. Like you have like a limit to your grip meter, so you can't just climb
Yeah,
forever.
but that's like really cool. Like
Yeah.
that's like mixing all the jumping, platforming stuff with the climbing stuff has been really neat, and it feels like when you complete a room or you complete an area, like it feels like you've completed some harrowing
accomplished,
climb.
yeah.
Like it's really neat.
the
I'm into it so far.
the game's getting a lot of like Game of the Year buzz,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Is there like, is it just because it's like very, very good at what it does, or is there like a kind of a hook to it that I'm forgetting?
yes and yes. This
I
is
don't
one
know
of
what
this
the hook is.
This is well, like, and that's kind of more of the story.
I mean, yeah, it's been really enjoyable from a mechanic standpoint so far, and the story seems like it's gonna go places, but I haven't gotten far enough to see what that like.
The story's pretty good. The puzzle platforming mechanics are great. The music's fucking great. It's not just one composer; it's a bunch of different composers from different like indie games.
That's an interesting.
There, you unlock later on after you beat the game. You unlock B-side, which essentially is like an alternate version of every level. And
No, I picked up a cassette tape last.
okay,
night
so as soon
that
as you
said-
pick up the
that
cassette tape,
said-
you get the B-side. I
B-side.
can't remember how it works. But as soon as you beat the game, like an area unlocks where you can only access it if you get these hearts.
okay.
And like every level you've been in so far has had them, but
I
they're
didn't-
super fucking well
I've
hidden.
gotten a bunch of hearts, but like the first mission I went through and I found a bunch of like secret hearts, and then by the end of the mission
Maybe it was
it told me I found 9 of like 20.
Yeah, it's like they are like they'll give you some really easy, essentially just to let you like. Carlos apparently beat the game with no hearts. Like they're the green coins from Messenger.
Yeah, the seeds.
They're more challenging than just like the regular part of the level.
Yeah.
And then they're fairly well hidden. Like Crispy said, if you find 9 and there's like 30, there's a shit ton of them, and they are extremely well. It's like not obvious that like where the fuck were
Yeah,
they?
there's a lot
Yeah.
of secrets.
Like-
There's a lot of like places where you just like.
Oh, I
punch
forgot about the
through a
strawberries.
wall.
Yeah, there's the strawberries too. So yeah, there's collectibles hidden throughout the levels.
Oh, maybe that's strawberries is what I'm thinking of.
Strawberries are just points. Well, whatever. Anyway, there's all these collectibles, and then once you beat the game, there's a new section that unlocks, but you have to have hearts to kind of unlock like the different parts of it. And then the B-sides are always great too. They're definitely more challenging. It's a punishing game. It's not like a game that you just sit down and play for a relaxing time, because you will be fucking gripping your controller in frustration at times when you can't fucking complete a level.
If you're holding a Switch right there, it looks like you're about to snap it.
Oh yeah. Thankfully, I played it on PC, so I just
Are you
had
playing
my-
on Switch?
No, I'm playing Carlos's version
Ah.
on PC.
Cool.
But yeah, I like Celeste a lot.
All right.
It's
well,
pretty cool. I'm gonna keep going.
Keep it up. We'll check back in on that one as well. Chris Davis,
Yeah.
you played a game. I played a very little amount of this game that I'd like to talk
I
about.
don't know what this game is.
You actually want to talk about this?
Dusk?
Yeah. Okay.
Ooh.
Well, we
Yeah,
can talk
wait,
about
what do you
Dusk.
mean, do I actually want to talk about Dusk?
I mean, it's a very metal game.
This game
but I
looks
didn't
like
expect you
poop.
to be that into it.
No, I mean, I tried it. I played like an hour and a half of it the other day.
Can't believe you played that much.
That's-
It was
that's-
it was
that's
on the
more enough to be an episode.
Such a
it was
poopy
on the
game.
list of what?
in my opinion, yeah.
Dude, okay,
I mean,
so
am I too good?
no, I mean this. this is gonna be one of those scenarios where it's just kind of like maybe I just don't get it.
You don't get it?
I don't know. I added it to my list of games that I knew I had to try before the end of the year because it's getting a lot of buzz. And albeit I am only in the first episode, I suppose. But I've done like 3 or 4 of the levels within the episode, I guess. Yeah. And I don't know. It hasn't quite clicked with me yet.
I would say that the first episode's levels, there's not much variety to them. It's kind of introducing like the concepts of the game. You know, it's a Quake-like, and you're right
and
around
maybe
shooting
that's
much
where
things.
maybe that's where the disconnect is because I've never been a fan of Quake. I've played I've played a little bit of Quake here and there, and every time I pick it up, I'm like, I just don't really enjoy the way it feels or whatnot, and so. But then again, I've also enjoyed classic Doom. I've enjoyed classic Duke Nukem, so I figured I would enjoy this. And I'm not like it's not like I'm actively hating it or anything like that. I'm just kind of like waiting for that magic moment that apparently everybody kind of seems to.
The thing about Quake and Quake-likes is that it's not necessarily about your weapons; it's more about your movement.
And you know what? That's my least favorite part of the game.
You
move so fast, I can't even tell what the fuck I'm doing.
That's one of the main focuses of.
I know, and that's where I'm just like, maybe that's just where the disconnect is.
Like I challenge you to watch like a Quake 3 tournament, and just see how mind-boggling player movement is. It's incredible.
But to me, there is such thing as moving too fast, and that's what this game feels like to me. I feel like I'm moving too fast to do anything.
Well, this seems slow to me because I watch every single YouTube video I watch in 2x speed.
Dude, if you watch this in 2x speed, this feels like you're playing in 2x speed all the time. Like that's
my life.
Maybe that's the problem I'm having. I don't know.
Maybe you're just too slow.
Yeah, Nick, that's fun.
I guess.
Dude,
Sorry,
if it makes you feel any better, I like what little I played of this game too was real like. Oh.
I mean, I think the guns feel pretty nice.
You move fast and shoot things. And when you hit the reload button, he twirls the guns.
Yeah,
because there's no reload in the game.
Yeah, so that so that is the
that's
the
I
joke,
instinctively
right?
still do that in the footage sometimes.
So that's the joke, right? There's a button that that does nothing but flip the gun, even though it's not doing anything.
Right.
Man, okay, cool, gotcha.
But like I was saying, like the first episode, its level design really just introduces the mechanics. It doesn't really like branch out and do anything really exciting, in my opinion. This is from episode 2, the facilities is what it's called.
Yeah,
and this is where just the game goes apeshit, and it just starts experimenting and doing so many interesting things.
There is definitely a lot more stuff going on in this level than what I've played so far.
This level in and of itself, 90% of it is this one big room, and it's you just running around with tons of enemies shooting at you, and you getting key cards to try to access these little warehouses within the room.
Yeah. See, this looks like I'm watching a death match.
Would you say it's just about moving fast and shooting things?
Are you trying to troll Brad?
No.
I mean, that's a good portion of it, though. But man, this episode 2 is where the enemy design also gets an upgrade, and you see a lot more, things to challenge you. You start seeing mini bosses that you'd fought as bosses before turn into just like regular enemies to fight.
When does the game get good?
So
this is how you tick off
okay.
Carlos.
So
now, I would say,
let me just say, I think it's cool that a game like this exists in 2018. I think it's kind of awesome that they went back and made
That
a
they're
throwback
making games for children.
No. Okay.
You think this is for children?
Okay, we're just being jerks. But like, a lot of people really like this game.
Yes,
a lot of
like
people
a
are really
lot.
hyped about this game. But all of those people were fans of Quake back in the day, or
not necessarily.
Is this just preaching to the converted, or is this something where like if you weren't really into that kind of thing, like this game will change everything for you?
Well, so I would say this. I was a big fan of like Doom games and Wolfenstein and things like that. I was never really into Quake. I didn't play Quake 1. I played a bunch of 2 and 3's multiplayer, but I never really actually did any of the story stuff. But for this, I've really enjoyed what I've played. I've beaten it, obviously, but
Obviously.
Obviously.
it's been a really good experience. It's been a lot of fun. Getting this, Quake-like experience without having to.
I mean,
play Quake.
the other thing too, like obviously, there's a lot of people talk. Like, I would be remiss if I did not talk about the level design, which seems really good. There's a lot of hidden shit in there. In fact, I played through the first 2 chapters, and I'm like, and then it said it was kind of like what you were talking about with Celeste. It said like you found like 2 out of 8 secrets, and I was like, what? I feel like I like.
Oh, yeah, there's tons of secrets in each level. There's
and a lot of them are really cleverly hidden.
There's also special power-ups, like the one I just picked up a second ago. You can't really tell because of the weapon I'm using, but it's like 3 or 4 times fire rate for your weapons. So an assault rifle, you just blaze through everyone like it's nothing.
Yeah.
And I get another one later on, which is basically super hot.
How many weapons are in this game?
9, I think.
9? Okay.
Yeah. As per tradition.
I've already
with
used like
these games.
4.
Why is that
4 of them.
tradition that there's 9?
Because
there's
there's
9 keys.
Yeah,
9
it was
number keys.
10 number keys.
Yeah, number keys.
Okay.
Interesting. I don't know. I'm gonna give it another try myself. I just like my initial reaction when I went in to play this was that like it's got cool atmosphere and
the music is
incredible. The music's intense.
Oh my god, the music is incredible. I went out and I immediately bought the soundtrack.
When do you give money to strippers?
There are no strippers. There are no friendly NPCs in this game.
Are there any? Well, I guess no. I guess
there are.
a pass for
I
me,
mean,
they're all enemies. Yeah.
I'm about to fight a boss that I think you'll find particularly entertaining.
Were the
Does it have boobs?
No. No.
Does
His
it
name
have-
is Big John.
does it have nipples?
And
Wrong direction. Wrong direction.
And that flip right there was me, pressing reload.
And you know what? One of the main reasons I was like super excited to like play this was because like and obviously it's not apples to apples here, but like I
Hey,
love
look at that shit. I press the button and
That's
the
pretty
fucking
cool.
ceiling opens up and I'm in the middle of a fucking city.
That's pretty cool.
that is pretty cool.
That is really cool. And then I go over to the store over here and it spawns Big John, who is basically an Arnold clone.
A what?
Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's basically saying all these lines from classic Arnold Schwarzenegger films.
That's
Yeah, kill me now.
Wait.
Do it.
like really?
Yes, he's saying all these things.
I don't get. See, also,
so
what
good.
is Chris Davis? What is this game? Like,
This
what is
is-
the point of this?
There is no point to it other than you want to play a very violent shooter and enjoy good level design. That's the point of this game.
Okay. I see. When I went into this, I was kind of expecting that there was like some kind of weird like Cthulhu-esque hook on like
There is
shooters.
a Cthulhu-esque hook to it.
Yeah, but it's not really.
No, there absolutely 100% is.
But like, you just said it yourself.
110%.
You just said it yourself. The game literally is just shoot things because that's
Because they're there.
I watched
there's-
Carlos beat this game the other night. So I watched the ending of it.
Yes. The second and final boss is nuts. But then the final boss is even more nuts.
I guess my question is, but why? What is the okay? We don't need to have that.
What is the point of video games?
I don't know, dude.
Ooh,
All
good
I'm saying
question.
is the reason I wanted to play this game is because, and like I said, not apples to apples here, but like I loved Doom 2016. I loved
Doom
it.
2016 is an incredible game.
Yeah, and I was kind of expecting to get maybe a more retro version of that, and maybe that was expecting. I was not. Maybe I just wasn't expecting the right kind of thing. So I was kind of surprised by what I got. So I don't know. I'm gonna go back and play it again because I do like the feel of the weapons. I'm just not super thrilled on like the way the character moves and whatnot. So I don't know.
I mean,
we'll see what happens.
yeah, the movement. It's just the nature of like a Quake. Like you gotta expect that you gotta prioritize movement over actually how you fight enemies.
Yeah.
Like that's the entire point.
It's just a lot of times there's just like too much
much going
happening
on?
too fast. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe
no,
I'm
there's-
just getting old.
Well, no, that's a fact.
There's a level towards the end of the game it's similar to the reactor level I just played, except there are no walls. It's just one giant area, and it just keeps fucking spawning.
See, that
enemies.
just feels like a death
and it doesn't
match.
stop.
But
It
that
doesn't fucking stop.
But that just feels like a death match.
It's not a
Then
death
get
match
good.
because you're fighting these.
I know, but
these
like-
AI.
I know, but
But-
everyone talks about like the
Okay,
level
how come
design.
There's
being-
a secret to that level.
How
that's
come
so
nobody is talking about Dusk World?
Wait, what is Dusk World?
Dusk World is the multiplayer component to this game.
Oh.
So it's basically Quake 1, 2, 3-ish multiplayer.
He asked a good question. I haven't heard anybody mention the multiplayer, but
I haven't tried it
I
yet.
didn't know there was multiplayer.
It is a thing.
I mean, it looks like
is evidently really
it looks
good
like a
too.
game that's kind of made for multiplayer. Like, I feel like when I'm playing this, like, maybe this would just be better as a multiplayer game.
Dusk
I don't know.
multiplayer, Dusk World itself came out, I think, when episode 1 was complete.
And that came out like way earlier this year, right?
Yeah,
like, they
earlier this
just
year.
released episode 3.
They just, episode 3 is basically 1.0.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go back and give it a little bit more time, but
What's the name of chapter 3?
Chapter 3 is the Nameless City. See, that's cool. Yeah, so each
the
episode has
name
a
is
theme.
cool.
So episode 1 is basically kind of like,
I love the idea
cultish,
of,
Resident Evil
like-
4-esque, environments and things like that. See, here's the super hot power. As long as I don't press any keys, I'm just slowing the world down.
That's pretty cool. So
Yeah,
I didn't get any of that.
Oh, it's so fucking cool.
Is that a feature? Is that like a mechanic that you unlock later in the game, or is
No,
that...
it's a power up you find in the level.
Oh, okay. I guess I just haven't run into it yet.
Yeah, no, it's much later in the game. It's at least in episode 2.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, episode 2 is more industrial. It's like urban environments and things like that. Like there's one level that takes place in a giant meat grinder. And then episode 3, it's kind of like a hybrid of episodes 1 and 2, except it's more focused on gothic level design.
Yeah.
So it's a bunch of like dark churches and catacombs and things like that. And Here I Die. But it's real fucking good, man. Real fucking good.
I'll give it another spin.
I think
I know
episode 2
Carlos
is my
adores this
favorite.
game, and I know Brad adores this game. So
Episode 2 has a level called the Escher Labs, in which all of it is just non-Euclidean architecture and MC
Oh,
Escher
Jesus.
bullshit.
Weird.
So you'll go around a corner, you turn back around, and all of a sudden the level's completely fucking different. Or you're on the walls, or you're
See,
walking on the walls. The
that
ceiling
sounds
level.
pretty cool. Also pretty discombobulating, but
It is absolutely discombobulating, but it's also so fucking good.
especially when you're moving so quickly.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, you come for this game, you play you play it for the soundtrack, you play it for the level design. It's really worth it. And
I just don't like the soundtrack.
What?
Really?
I don't like the fucking butt rock.
Okay.
But right.
Okay, I mean fair
It's
enough.
just- it's like it's okay,
right up
but
your
it's
alley,
like
man. Like the tunes that are rocking in this footage are like
Did you like
do
the
wanna
Doom
play
2016 soundtrack?
more. No.
Oh,
Like,
God.
Not really.
That's so good.
It's okay.
so good.
It's fine. It's nothing that I would like listen to.
I'm gonna choose to not take offense to that.
that's
Let's
Just,
move on,
like,
shall we?
Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
yeah. It's I mean, dude, this game was 6 hours for all 3. I mean, all 3 episodes. I don't know if
I
I'm-
might be able to find 6 hours
I think you could
before
fit
the
it
end of
in.
the year. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Let's move on, shall we?
At least play through episode 2.
I'll give it another shot.
Yeah.
I want to really quickly give an update on Return of the Obra Dinn.
No joy.
This game is really good.
Oh, is it?
I like this game a lot.
But
Oh God, maybe I shouldn't talk about this game.
Why not?
Like I said earlier, I have 21 fates left to identify. I find it. I'm having so many wonderful moments like that. So many wonderful moments where I notice one tiny detail and I kind of like things fall into place, and I realize I misidentified one person, then I change it, and then that makes the other person easy to identify, and then boom, I have 3 people, and that quick cut to black where I know that I found something, like I've identified 3 fates, is super awesome.
So Nick, let me give you some pointers. There's have you seen every scenario yet?
Yes.
Okay. So the thing is, you have to make a lot of assumptions.
I know,
And that's okay.
So okay, let me just
Sure.
get this out.
Yeah.
Where I'm at now, I have exactly 21 people left to identify, and I have pretty much gotten to the point where all of those people that are left, I'm guessing. I have, to my knowledge, uncovered as much as I'm going to find out about a lot of these people.
Don't think you're right.
The thing is, like, the problem I'm having is I know there are probably other clues that I could find, but I am so confused as to where to look to find those things because of the way the game is, like, presented, like, where I have to physically walk around the boat. I have to look at certain bodies, but I can't remember. God, this is such a hard thing to like wrap my head around and talk about because
Well, have you opened up every page except for chapter 8?
Yes.
Okay.
It is raining on the boat.
So
which
Nick,
is, I've been
here
told
let's talk
happened.
about this a little bit. So, have you been looking at?
Yes, clothing. Yeah, clothing. Country of origin, where they're positioned, or where they're on the ship.
Oh, I don't know if you know about this one. There is a particular scene that is really helpful for cleanup because it contains most people in the ship. And
You're not talking about the execution,
no,
are you?
I'm not talking about the execution. I'm talking about.
Is it in the last chapter?
Basically, what it.
In Doom?
No,
chapter 8,
it's early. It's like chapter 4 or something. There's a scene where you're in the lower part of the ship at night when like everyone's asleep, and everyone's billets has a number tag on them.
Everyone's what?
Their cots,
Like their
hammocks.
which correspond to the numbers in the list. So that's a really helpful scene for getting your bearings around, for like matching people together and like figuring out.
Oh well,
who's
I feel like that just gives shit away, doesn't it?
No,
Not
because you
necessarily.
can't see the people in the billets.
You
You
can't
can
see
only see
who's-
their numbers.
Yeah.
So like there's certain people who are positioned, like you'll see certain people in that scene who are positioned next to their beds, who aren't in their
Are you,
beds.
you're talking about the one early on where there's like people that have died of illness, right? And they're outside of the doctor's or the surgeon's office or surgeon's room.
Around that time, yeah, that's what he's
Yeah.
talking
it's
about.
it's in that chapter.
Because there's only one chapter.
That exact scene.
There's only one chapter I can think of where I remember seeing cots hanging there. So
yeah, that's like one of your Rosetta.
I mean,
Stone
I'm to the point now where I can make fairly educated guesses about a good portion of them.
Don't get me wrong. There are definitely some people in here that it does not say their name anywhere. It does not.
There is one guy who is like he has his hand in everything. And if I knew him, I could probably beat the game.
There's a couple of people that are in a lot of stuff.
There's one guy who's like he's like he's in like 3 or 4 memories where he's like murdered someone or I don't.
Oh, is he a deckhand?
I don't know who he is.
He's not an officer.
No.
I mean, you can tell by how he's dressed.
Yes. Well, I mean, but then again, like I'm not a seaman. I don't know.
I know.
That's funny. I don't know.
I know who you're talking about, and I'm surprised you haven't nailed him down yet.
No.
So Nick, here's what I'll say.
You're talking about the guy who he's stabbing a dude with a sword?
A few people stab people with swords, but yeah, I think he does stab somebody.
Dude, and it's still so, like, it has little indicators that say how difficult it would be to pinpoint him. I guess it says 1, 2, or 3. It still says 3 for him.
It never goes down. It never it's like, oh, now it's easier to pinpoint him.
Really?
Yeah, it never goes down.
I wish I would have known that because I'm sitting here trying to focus on.
Yeah, that's just, hey, in general, this person is a 3. If you're like 10 minutes into the game, probably don't try and guess who that person is. What I will say is, like, I don't know the approach Carlos talk. He's talking about not trying to brute force it, but there are definitely some characters where it does not give you.
I mean, blind guessing doesn't work because you only make progress if you correctly identify 3 people.
Here's what I did a little bit, Nick. Because there are certain characters that this game does not like. I know it's a topman because of where he is in certain times and whatever. So I know, but I have no idea what his fucking name is.
Also, I think like 7 or 8 people are people who I don't. See, this is the weird thing. Like, I think 7 or 8 of them, I think, disappeared.
There's a few that you don't know where they're
but
at.
I don't know where they disappeared. I've gone through all the memories, especially the late. It says they disappeared in this memory, and I go to that memory.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, and you're gonna have to get like a little outside the box.
A little inside
You
the book.
gotta like look at the book. Look at the book.
Let's not go in.
But
Well, no, I already no here. I know what you're alluding to because I guessed it. I wild guessed it, and so I was playing the other night, and Carlos was like, "Bruh, let me share your stream with or share your screen with me." So I did. I streamed for Carlos.
Terrible idea.
And he watched me, and he goes, "Dude, how did you guess that guy?" And I go, "I don't know. I fucking guessed." And he goes, "I'm gonna blow your mind right now." And then he told me how you're supposed to identify that person and what happened to him.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Oh fuck!" I lucked the fuck out, hardcore. It's one of the major characters in the book.
Weird.
That disappeared to a particular place, and I guessed it.
Use the cot scene.
All right, I'll check.
Nick,
I'll check
so
that. I'm pretty sure that the next time I play this game, I'm going to finish it.
There's people in that scene that you that are like kind of clumped together. That really the only way to like even them out is to go through that scene. And I know there's a few people who I could only guess who they were based on their number in the list and using. That
So here's the
scene
thing, Nick. I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
I don't want to say brute force it, but I did a little bit. In that there was certain times where it was like, hey, I have 100% know who this character is. I didn't put their info in the book. I went around, found some other people, and were like, I think this might be this person, and I'm fairly certain this is this person. I'm 90% sure this is how they died, and I put those ones that I was less sure of. And then I went back and I confirmed that other person, and blah, blah, those two that I had guessed on popped up correct. Just because they're like, I know you don't brute force it, is what some people will say, but there's definitely, without knowing about that cot scene, there's definitely some people that this game does not tell you who they are.
Yeah, no, I know. I don't want this to sound like I'm disliking the game or anything like that, because I'm loving it. I'm loving that experimentation.
The music is so good.
The music is fantastic. The presentation is amazing. I just get really overwhelmed trying to figure out what scene to go to next to try and make some kind of progress.
Have you been using like the map too?
Yes.
Like you seeing where a person is when and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's...
I find that to be super confusing.
Really?
Super fucking confusing.
To do what?
Where you look at the map and you bookmark their memories, look at the map and see how they move around the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't do that.
Every time I do it, I get more confused than I was before, so I've kind of stopped doing it.
Yeah, I didn't like that system at all. I started by bookmarking everybody.
But
you can only bookmark one person
You can only
at a
bookmark
time.
one at a time. When you bookmark someone, it unbookmarks the other person that you already had.
Oh, well, then I don't even know if we're talking about the same thing. I don't.
Where you look at the map of the boat.
There were entire organizational systems in that game that I ignored.
Okay, so that's kind of where the only gripe I have about the game, because I feel like they're trying to give you tools to use to solve it, and I don't think some of those tools are up to snuff. But the context clues they give you are incredible. And like I figured out one guy the other day because I noticed in one scene the way he was placing his hand on something that I didn't notice it at all anywhere. And then I saw that and I realized I had misidentified one other person and I swapped them. Boom.
Yeah.
Done. And that was super satisfying. I love that.
I will say, Nick, that there was people that I said, there's no fucking way I would ever figure out who this person is. I went back to an older memory, went into a room I hadn't been in before, and was like, oh shit, that is 100% who this person is.
Yeah.
Like they're like, you really, at this point, when you have X amount identified, it's kind of about, hey, pick a scene, go to that scene, look at how many people are in this memory, pull up the map or the picture, see which ones you haven't identified, and be like, oh shit, like that guy is in this scene. Where the fuck is he? Wander around, find the door you're missing, go in there and be like, oh, like I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? There's definitely some that,
and like all of that stuff is definitely falling into place for me. I love that. There is one guy. There's one guy. He's driving me crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I'm about 98% certain I know who he is, what his name is.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot pinpoint how he's actually dying in the scene that he's dying.
I think I know who you're talking about.
He's either being speared, spiked, burned alive.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are my three options.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't tell how he's actually biting it. And maybe it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know you have a little bit of wiggle room in terms of how they die.
Mm-hmm.
But like I've had him pinned for a while, and I'm I don't think he can be anybody else than who I've identified him
I think
as.
I know who
and
you're
it
talking
won't
about.
give it like it won't give me his fate. Like it won't like I've solved like 3 more sets of people, and he's never one of the 3. And I'm like, what the fuck? He's probably like.
I think I know.
He's
who
probably
you're
gonna be
talking
the
about.
last person I identify.
Let's talk about it a little bit, and I'll maybe try and poke you in the right direction.
Gross.
But not on the feed though. I don't want to spoil
of course.
anything.
Gross.
No poking.
No
on the
poking.
feed.
All right. How are we doing on time? I don't.
It's time for a break.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, I have one more game I want to talk about. I know we want to check. You've been playing a little God of War. I want to see what you're thinking about that so far. And then, of course, we'll answer some questions from our supporters on Patreon and wrap up the show. So, if you're watching us live, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, let's get the show on the road. Welcome back, guys. As I mentioned before, we don't have a lot of news this week, so we're just going to finish up these impressions and move straight into our supporter section of the month for this. I don't know. I can't form
Supporter
words today.
spotlight?
We're just supporter spotlight and questions from our supporters on Patreon and Twitch in just a moment. I wanted to give a quick update. Last week I talked about Ashen, which I am still playing. I played a little bit of that on the feed last night.
Nick, is it good?
It is quite good.
What does that mean?
Why do you seem?
You stumbled on the word "quite."
I did.
You're lying to me, Nick.
No, I'm enjoying.
Nick!
I'm enjoying the shit out of it,
Is it
man.
a good game? Should I buy it? Is it $40 good?
So I will
I'm
say,
poor.
I think that's yet to be. You know what? Yes, because that game is. I was under the impression when I first started playing it that it was going to be more of like a linear action game. But the environments keep getting bigger and branching out farther and farther, and now I'm to the point where I'm in these big wide open spaces and I can go in any number of direction, and I'm finding caves, and I'm like, and I don't want to explore the caves because there's some really fucked up shit in some of those caves
Like
that I'm not
what?
quite ready for. Like there's these like weird shadow creatures that like
Cannibals, real
if
fucked up shit.
like they live in the shadows, and like all you can just see their eyes, and then when you get too close to them, they like dart at you and pin you to the ground. And if your AI partner or other, in some case, if you're playing online, your other player doesn't get to you fast enough, they murder you. But
Are you
I'm
sure it's just murder?
Here's the thing: I really wish I was playing this game online, just to try it at least. But I don't turn my Xbox on enough to justify
ever?
getting an Xbox Live account to play online. So I'm just playing online with the AI control partner, which isn't so bad. But I've seen a few people say that towards the end of the game, the AI isn't quite smart enough to support you in certain combat situations. But so far it's been great.
Well, why don't you buy like a 3-month pass?
I might just cave and do like a month and just plow through it or something. Yeah. If I get to the point where I feel like I need other players to help me out, but so far it's been pretty good. One thing I didn't mention last week that I really like about this game is at the very beginning when you first come out into the world, you kind of take over this like bandit camp, and it becomes kind of like your hub. And over time, as you meet new characters, you send them back to your camp, and
Kind of similar to Dark Souls.
yeah, but every time you go back, the camp keeps getting bigger. Like
they're like building it out.
they're building like houses and like stuff. So every time you go back, it's just a little bit more fleshed out, and like it's pretty dramatic. Like it's a pretty dramatic change, and it's fun to watch as you go through the game.
It's a really good physical mark of progress, right?
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, it's kind of an illusion. It's kind of an illusion too, because it's pretty much based on when you unlock this character, and next time you go back, this
big.
building is going to
Sure.
be this much bigger, and that kind of
Illusion
thing.
to
You're not
what?
seeing it like physically get bigger and bigger. It's kind of like Red Dead Redemption 2, where as you go back to town, as you hit checkpoints throughout the story,
Certain things
certain
change.
buildings get more built out and stuff. But it's a cool effect, and it is a nice marker of progress. Last night I went through a dungeon. That was pretty much my entire stream as I went through this fucking dungeon that was super long, and there's tons of enemies in there that are actually really hard. So like last night was like the first like real clutch like Souls-like experience I had, where I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to make it all the way through the dungeon to get to the boss and beat the boss without losing all of my souls, or whatever you want to call them in this game.
Souls.
Yeah, we'll just call them souls.
Sure.
But it was super satisfying, and it's you're also having to like balance between, you can switch between different weapons. So I'm using I have a one-handed club that I'm using that I'm upgrading, and then I also have this giant axe that I'm swinging around, which is a two-handed thing. But you can also carry around a lantern, because the dungeon I was going through last night was like super dark, so I had to like carry the lantern most of the time. And then somebody popped into the chat and was like, you could put the lantern down if you want to like illuminate an area and then switch back and forth between your weapon and then holding a shield, and then, or equip your two-handed weapon. And I was like, I wish I had known that so much sooner, because I fucking died like 50 times going into this place trying to just wield a club and a lantern. But yeah, dude, this game is really fucking cool so far. I met a new character last night when I got to the end of that dungeon that like unlocked this like really cool platforming traversal ability that I didn't have before. You'll see all these like little statues that are kind of scattered around the world. They have these like little red glowing orbs on them, and I was like, what the fuck are these for? And she unlocks the ability for you to like, you can craft spears, and if you throw a spear and hit the statue, it like teleports you to it. But you actually have to physically hit the statue with the spear and be very precise about it, or you just waste the spear. So
yeah, I saw you use it.
So it's kind of like a trade-off. It's like you can get to these like really secret areas, or like explore more of the world, but you have to be very precise, or you're just going to end up wasting a bunch of really helpful resources. So this is another thing that I have unlocked since last week. The fast travel system in this game is kind of unique, because you actually earn the ability to do fast travel through an optional side quest. You actually go to this place, and there's that little dragon creature, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what it actually is, but it's like a flying creature. But he's like being held captive by this dude. And if you go to this place and fight the guy, he's like an optional boss. You release him from his captivity, and he becomes your companion. And he will actually appear at these ritual stones, which are kind of like bonfires. And
Okay.
You can fast travel, but he stays where you fast travel to. So if you fast travel to a place and then travel somewhere else, he won't, unless you're unlocking a brand new one. Like, he basically appears every time you unlock a brand new one. Like, he'll fly down and appear on top of the ritual stone. But if you go between two that you've already discovered, he doesn't travel with you. He'll stay at the one that you left him at. So you kind of have to plan the way you move around the world.
You can't go and like call him at another.
Yeah, you can't call him from another one. He'll go to the new ones you discover, or he'll stay at the one that you last fast traveled with him. So it's pretty cool. Like if you choose not to do that quest at all,
Don't get fast travel.
you don't get fast travel, which I thought was pretty unique. But yeah,
Would you want to play the game without fast travel?
Yeah, I mean, it's perfect. I mean, the world is like not so large that you can't imagine, not fast traveling. It's a pretty tight experience so far. It's grow, as you can see, the map is growing, but it looks big when you're looking on the screen, but you can actually probably run across most of these open maps, a minute or two.
Okay.
But so it's not terrible. But
What's your favorite weapon?
well, I've been switching primarily between the club and the
axe.
two-handed axe that I've been upgrading. But I just decided to experiment with what's it called? I guess it's like a hatchet that I'm starting to upgrade, but I haven't really experimented with it yet. That's one thing I will say that's kind of bummed me out. I wish there was more weapons and armor to find. It's pretty rare that you actually find something you can actually swap out. Like most of the stuff you're finding is like usable items and stuff that like give you health or stamina boosts or stat boosts or whatever, but you very rarely come across like new exciting armor or a new shiny weapon. And most of the weapons I've found have been some variation of clubs or axes. So there might be a little bit lacking in the variety of weapons and armor.
How far through this would you say you are?
I'm about 10 hours into it so far. Maybe 11 hours.
That's a really shitty lantern.
But I mean, like, what?
Really?
Do you know what your progress is?
No, I don't. I don't really have a feel for. I've heard people talk about this game being like 20 to 25 hours, so I don't think it's the longest game, which is actually quite appealing after playing something like Red Dead Redemption 2 honestly. Like I really like this kind of familiar experience, but I also don't want to feel like I'm getting myself into another 40 to 50 hour time sink. You know what I mean? Especially towards the end of the year.
Yep.
It's really cool.
Do not have the time for those.
And
time sinks.
that art style that everyone likes to like kind of harp on about them not having faces and whatnot, it's really growing on me. I don't know what it is, but like it did not seem appealing to me at all when I first started this, but I love it now. I don't know what it is. I think it's really unique, and everything kind of looks like it's actually a pretty cohesive art style that works.
I mean, I don't see what is so wrong with it. I don't really.
I think a lot of people assume that the lack of faces means they didn't maybe they weren't confident in their ability to do faces, or like they were just going
First
for
of all, I will
budget
say a
looking.
lot of games have characters with really fucky looking faces, and secondly, most of the time I don't care what their face looks like.
Yeah,
Like,
but
honestly,
I think
like half the time they have like a mask on or like a helmet anyway. So what does it matter?
But I think people who would
Sometimes they're
assume,
just fugly.
but I think people that would assume they did this for like budgetary reasons are probably wrong. Like I think it's actually
if they did, it's genius.
I think it's a pretty intentional decision though, because it's really grown on me over time, and I like it a lot.
That was something I was trying to get at last time. Is there like
like
there
a lore reason?
thematic reason for why they did
Not that
Is there a
not that I've
narrative
picked up
reason?
yet, but
I mean,
who
Brad's in
knows?
chat saying the art is fine, but the lack of faces just sucks. What the? Are you trying to jerk off to them? Like, what do you care that they don't have a
I mean,
face?
here's
Like,
the
I
thing,
honestly
like-
don't understand.
I think it's the game really does kind of have that minimalistic art style, like feel like literally removing the details from the face is like part of what gives it that like minimalistic feel to it. Like everything is kind of smooth,
Yeah.
and like everything looks a little bit like it's kind of made out of clay and smoothed out, which I think is pretty cool. Like a lot of things have kind of like hard edges. I don't. It's I think everything here is pretty intentional, and I don't think my attitude at first was, yes, this kind of sucks, but they are very capable of doing very detailed faces, because I mentioned this last week, but there's this like goddess that you meet, and she's like this big giant. Her head comes out of the lake, and she has lips and
nice
a nose.
chest ahead.
I mean, you can't really see her eyes, but like she has her nose and her mouth, and like it's very detailed, and I was like, wow, that looks really beautiful.
She's a god.
Yeah.
Do you see other gods?
I've met a couple that might be
Do they have
considered
faces?
she's the only one that's had a face so far. A lot of them will have like face paint and stuff, but like no mouth or nose or eyes. But yeah,
I like it. But like, I want to play the game because I feel like there's got to be some kind of like themology going on here, right? There's
Maybe.
some kind of like hidden subtext.
maybe. I
to
mean,
it.
it definitely does that that like really intriguing like mythology with that it kind of just delivers to the player through like not necessarily item descriptions like Dark Souls does, but like just through like this really atmospheric like the world is really atmospheric, and like really like the fact that everything's kind of toned down and like it's cloudy and like I don't know, it's really, everything is really moody, and then the dialogue is surprisingly well written and like voice acted, like, and I don't know, it's got a lot of personality that I didn't see the first time that I saw this. Like I said, when I saw it at E3, I like none of this personality came across in the demos that I was watching. So I don't know. It's pretty fucking cool so far. I'm definitely gonna be finishing this. Maybe this weekend. We'll see what happens. Cool. But the difficulty is definitely starting to ramp up, for sure. We'll see what happens. That's all I have to say about that. I'll give you all an update when I've finished it and I have more to say about it. Chris Davis,
Yeah,
you said you've been playing a lot of God of War finally.
I've been playing
Finally.
a shit ton of
What
God
a
of War.
How's that
Bad
going?
boy.
I've probably put about 20, 25 hours into
That's
it.
a decent amount.
Yeah.
I would like. I haven't looked up anything about this game.
Good.
I would like to know from y'all, based on what I say, to know how far I am in the game. I have defeated my first Valkyrie, and
All the Valkyries are pretty much optional.
Yeah, that doesn't tell you too much
I didn't
progress.
fight any of the Valkyries.
Well, I went to Mephuselheim and I fought the
Muspelheim?
Muspelheim.
I don't know whatever it's called.
The
I thought it was Mephuselheim.
the lava, like the volcano.
Yeah.
It's not an F sound, it's a P. It's Muspelheim.
Whatever. Well, I
Get
fought
it
a
right,
Valkyrie,
Chris Davis.
and I learned that I was severely underleveled for that. And now
You probably will be for a while.
I'm in Helheim right now.
Muspelheim?
Which one was Helheim?
Helheim is the
The one
land
with
of the dead.
flying guys, right? Oh, no.
Yeah, it's the one where you
That's
have
Niflheim, what I was thinking of. Helheim is the one that's cold, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
In
thought,
which your axe doesn't do anything,
Yeah.
so you have to get another thing.
I thought that was pretty far when you first got there. I think you go back.
You do go back, but no, Chris Davis is pretty far in
Yeah,
the game.
you're-
He's 25 hours. He's pretty far.
Yeah, you're definitely pretty
This
far.
is not like an 80-hour game. I think I beat the game in like maybe 35.
Yeah.
So I'm like maybe 2/3, maybe
Well,
halfway.
probably.
When I think
Yeah, I think you do go to Helheim twice, though.
You do. No,
Yeah.
you 100% do. You,
Okay.
You have to go back there.
Okay. Good.
but you're enjoying it?
I am really enjoying it. I
Chris
bounced
Davis?
off of God of War this as a series pretty hard with the very first God of War because
those games were very different from what this is.
yeah, no, it absolutely
Like,
is. I absolutely agree.
This is God of War in name only.
yeah, well,
And
name,
Kratos.
name and character,
Well,
and that's about it.
You know, that,
Yeah,
But I think that's
this
part-
setting, character and set
character
world
is a
setting.
little bit different.
it's God of War in name alone and character.
This
world
setting.
Kratos is
And
very
setting.
different from the previous Kratos.
Yeah.
But
Like I knew that from minute one when like he's on screen and he's just chopped down the tree at the very beginning, and one of his wrappings is coming off of his arm.
yeah.
And it's like it's that moment where okay, he's starting to let go of the past, and he's kind of starting to forgive himself and be a better person, maybe.
Dude, it's a very different game than the previous ones, like you said. But the fact that they're treating it like a sequel to those, I think, makes it that much better.
No, I agree.
Yeah, no,
Which
yeah.
is so cool.
So, Chris Davis, some tips I will give you.
Yes,
The skill tree, you're learning new abilities and
yes,
stuff.
I
Really-
pretty much bought everything.
Okay, buying it is one thing, using them is another.
Yeah.
I would say get very good at combos and learning those other moves and stuff like that, because especially if you do want to start fighting those Valkyries, if you're just trying to kind of brute force it, you're going to have a bad time.
Oh yeah, no.
Like, you really need to, and that's one of the things I liked about, what was that one area? Not Muspelheim, not Niflheim, not Helheim.
I'm really bad at the names in this game.
there's-
Alfheim,
Huh?
Alfheim?
Alfheim is...
the one with the elves.
No. Well, there's another one. It's the
Son
one with
of
the...
a- the maze?
Yeah, the maze.
Jotunheim?
It's not. I don't think it's
maze.
Jotunheim.
Come on, somebody in chat has to know the
What is
answer to
this
this.
maze?
Yeah, somebody in chat has to know. I don't know if you've gotten there yet. I mean, I think you should have gotten there. But so that area is pretty tough because the whole point of that area is you can only be in there for X amount of time.
Okay.
Because there's like a Milfheim.
Niflheim.
Milfheim.
Wait, is that? Are you being punked?
I
or
don't
is it-
believe that.
It is.
at
I
all.
think it is.
Milfheim?
I think it's Miflheim sounds right, but I could be. I think that is what it is.
Let's just call it Milfheim. How about that? I'll leave it to my imagination.
But anyway,
The maze one.
It's like a maze. That's all
Okay.
it is. It's a giant maze, and the whole point is you can only be in there for so long. There are things that will extend the time you can be in there, but it's all about, hey, you're now in a combat scenario. You can't leave until you finish this combat scenario. Timer's ticking. So you got to get really fucking good at comboing attacks and ensuring that you're dodging them. You have
They're
to
delivering as much damage as fast as possible.
Yeah, so that area I think is a very good place to essentially force yourself to get better at the game.
Okay, well the trials have helped with that.
The trials in Helheim, not Helheim,
Muspelheim, whatever
Muspelheim.
it's called.
So yeah, no, that is one thing, but this is similar, but literally having a time limit.
Also,
Okay.
I fought the last Valkyrie after I had spent about 45 hours in the game, and I'd done most of the trials and
Yeah,
what is it?
I'm not even gonna say
Muspelheim.
Muspelheim. And I still spent. I still it took me about 40 or 50 tries to beat that last Valkyrie.
Okay,
I didn't beat that last Valkyrie. I tried like 10 times, and I was like, I'm good.
They're beasts.
is
But
there a narrative payoff for getting all the Valkyries?
Yes.
A little bit, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
there is.
Okay, I might do it. Then.
But the thing with Miflheim,
I will say this: don't expect some like grand, like giant cutscene
yeah.
at the end.
No,
but there
no,
is
no,
definitely a kind of like a reveal that comes.
I'm
to
glad that I did this thing.
the Miflheim thing, you can get some really good armor from that and some good stuff. So
Yeah.
it's worth doing it. But it is that whole challenge of you earn like a special currency for doing it, and you have to, make a run essentially. Go in there, do your thing, exit, and then it banks all of that currency. And so getting better at those fighting skills and unlocking and picking the best special attack for boy. Making sure that
for boy.
making sure that you know, and I can't remember which one I ended up going with. I think it was either the boar or the birds.
I go with the wolves.
So the wolves aren't super good for crowd control, is one thing. There's only 4 or 5 of them or whatever, whereas the bird, it's one of those things where you want to build up the meter, and so being able to, it's kind of, you got to play around with it. And so I would definitely say try and spend some time there, because one of the things, you're not going to finish, it's like a diamond shape. So you have the entry point, and then you have 2 on each side and 1 at the end. So it's a maze, but it's as soon as you kind of figure it out, you can get turned around. So as long as you don't get turned around, you'll be able to get in and out. You're not going to finish it your first time, but it's all about doing a couple of short runs early on. Then you'll unlock some gems that will extend your time in there, and that makes life easier.
Are they? When you say gems, they're not enhancements, right? They're just an item that you get.
They're items you can get that you can only spend at one particular.
No. So that's the currency. But I'm saying I can't remember what it's like I can't remember.
It's a thing that extends time, but I don't have to equip it to my character, right?
You have to equip it to your armor or whatever. Yeah.
Shit.
It's a rune.
A rune, maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey Chris, can you click on the chat?
But I also think there's armor that you can get that increases your time in there. I can't remember. It's been a while since I played God of War. But yeah.
Okay, because I'm not a fan of how the leveling system works in the game.
Mm-hmm.
That pretty much Kratos doesn't level up. It's basically what armor he wears enhances his ability to take on harder enemies.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that. I really wish there was like some kind of leveling or XP system that really wasn't just buying, XP is currency in this game.
I think they were trying to encourage people to experiment with different armor and weapons instead of just picking one that they like and then leveling up the character.
See, it feels the exact opposite to me. It feels like the game is forcing you to keep playing until you can afford to buy a set of armor that gates you away from being able to take on these harder enemies. It feels like that to me.
I think you need to get good, son. I do think that you can probably take on any enemy. It's just a matter of how quickly you can defeat them. And in regards to the armor sets, I don't see them so much as... Don't get me wrong. There are some that by the end of the game, they're completely useless. But I also think of it almost like Ocarina of Time, where you have your red tunic, your blue tunic, and you need them for certain scenarios. So if you're trying to do one specific thing, wearing this one set of armor can maybe help you with that thing.
I mean, I don't agree with that analogy because those...
Too bad.
I mean, those outfits in Ocarina, they're designed to allow you access to an environment. They don't really have...
I didn't say it's the one-to-one scenario. I'm saying I'm likening it to that because there is a scenario... So, sorry, not Ocarina of Time. Think Breath of the Wild, where you wear something that increases your time in a hot area because whatever. I'm saying you can still survive there, but this thing will help you.
Yeah.
And so I'm saying there are sets of armor that will help you in certain places that, while it might not be necessary to wear in this world, wearing it in this world will be more beneficial. So I definitely did spend some time swapping back and forth between armor sets when I played it. And swapping back and forth between runes as well, just depending on the scenario I was in.
I started doing a lot more experimentation with runes and armor towards the later half of the game.
I would feel better about that if there was like a loadout system to where I could select, just base sets.
I agree with you.
I think loadouts would benefit most games.
If similar to like Red Dead, where if I could say like, hey, this is a loadout, save it, and whenever I want to go back to it, just go back. Yes, I agree. That would have been nice.
But no, other than that, I mean, like I've been really enjoying the game. The enemy variety could use an upgrade, in my opinion. But then again, I'm not at any scenario. I can't judge it yet.
They didn't want to blow their load with the first game.
I wouldn't be
I
surprised.
think you're at a point where you can. Because it
Really?
doesn't change from where you are.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Alright.
no, like that's the one thing. Like a lot of the quote unquote bosses in the game, are just trolls.
Yeah, they're like
Yeah.
or stone, ancients or something like that.
Yeah.
They're really just repeated enemies over and over.
You
and
don't.
over
They
again.
don't have. It doesn't have the same variety as classic God of War, and that's I think has mostly to do with one, the mythology that they decided to go with, and two, not necessarily knowing how successful the game was going to be, and not wanting to blow their load on the first game without figuring out how much legs
I don't know
the
about
game
that.
has.
I think there's probably plenty to work with Norse mythology, but I think it's more the fact that this is such a drastic shift in gameplay style that you've only got a certain type of enemy to work with at the start, which is mostly bipedal enemies that are human-like.
Yeah. So I'm sure they're going to do some.
I fucking love the
Fantastic
scale of
thing.
this world, though.
Yeah, the scale of the world's awesome.
Like, holy shit, when you go into the north and you see the giant,
Yeah.
Ooh, that was cool.
like that entire moment was like, I see that hammer. I know exactly what they're going to do with it. I can't wait to do that. That's
Yeah.
going to be great.
dude, that game's so fucking good.
It's
pretty
been
good.
really fucking good.
Probably shouldn't spend any more time on it on this show, but I'm glad you're enjoying it. You should definitely make sure
we
you
did do a
finish that.
spoiler cast about
We
it,
did.
didn't we?
Thanks
We
for
did
the
do
invite.
that. Wait, what? Sorry, what? I'm sorry.
What's up?
Who?
What's going on?
Nolan? What?
What happened?
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
Let's move on. Yeah.
All right. That's it for impressions, right? We didn't have anything else. Okay.
that was it.
Yeah, no.
I mean, like I said, I briefly mentioned earlier that I finished Red Dead.
we are doing a spoiler cast,
so I have thoughts and opinions on that. But yeah,
which you can share.
yeah. I mean,
the not too
I'll
distant
say I
future.
enjoyed the game.
Sweet.
I didn't necessarily enjoy the 36 minutes of credits after the game.
Wait,
What's up?
you're gonna critique the credits?
I was just saying they're very long.
Yeah.
Especially for leaving out people.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I'm just saying, even though there's 36 minutes, Nick,
yeah.
that's not a.
That's
No,
all.
I watched the whole thing.
Oh, so did I. I didn't want to skip it, and the problem is they intersperse little cutscenes throughout the credits, so it's not like you can just skip them.
There was some cool stuff in
No, I agree.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree, but it's just 36 minutes.
Yeah,
All right, that's it.
it was a bit long.
Quite a bit.
All right. Before we get to questions from supporters on Patreon, I want to introduce our supporter spotlight for January, Miss Elizabeth, who is in chat right now, I believe. We of course sent her a list of questions. First of all, if you don't remember, we do this every month. We're gonna pick a supporter, our paid supporter, so someone who supports us on Patreon or Twitch. If you support us on Patreon at the $3 tier, or if you, of course, subscribe to us on Twitch at for $5, you are entered in a random drawing to be selected as a supporter spotlight. We're going to send you a list of gaming-related questions and kind of give you an opportunity to tell us a little bit about yourself, tell us about your taste in games, share your top 5 games of all time, recommend a game to the community, that kind of thing. And we're going to kind of read these out over the course of the month. I'm just going to kind of introduce her this week, and then next week we'll kind of dig into some of her other responses. Also, I see you, Biohunter. You just subscribed with Twitch Prime. Thank you very much. But anyways, Miss Elizabeth sent us her responses. Her name is Elizabeth. She's from upstate New York, where the sky is currently
Blue.
apparently.
But like not normal blue, like a weird.
Yeah, like a fucking alien blue looks like. It's weird.
They're saying a fucking Con Ed transformer plant or something exploded, but
Now,
I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
Just
all
some
right.
swamp gas.
So we asked Miss
Franklin
Elizabeth
Light from Venus?
kind of up front. We asked about just some general information about the person in terms of like what their chat name is, how they came up with their chat name. She says the origin of my chat name, Miss Elizabeth, is from Elizabeth Salander. Salander? Yeah.
Salamander?
Like JD Salander?
I thought it was
Slytherin.
No, we're talking about girl with the dragon tattoo.
Oh yeah. Lisbeth Salander.
Salander. I don't know why I can pronounce the name all of a sudden. She picked that name because she thought that character was 100% badass, and she thinks that Rooney Mara is the best version of Lisbeth. That's the one from the Daniel Craig.
Correct.
Yeah, but then didn't
version?
she also play the same character in the
I think so.
European version?
I thought so.
I don't think so. I think there's the European version, because I know they have like 3 movies with her, and then Rooney Mara was in the
don't
one
know
with
that
Daniel
much.
Craig, which they didn't get to make another one with her.
she
And now they
did.
have the new one, which I haven't seen or heard anything about yet, but it's a different
I didn't even know there was a new one.
There is a new one.
Yeah, the girl who
I would
played
be
with
willing to
fire.
bet Miss Elizabeth can tell you
Yeah.
exactly what the new one is.
Isn't that Kate Mara's sister?
Is it
Rooney
Kate
Mara?
Mara's sister?
I thought so.
I don't.
It is
I
now.
would not know.
If anything I'm stating about the girl with the dragon tattoo is incorrect,
different
please feel
actress
free
for
to
all three
connect
movies.
to correct me. But yeah, that's how she came up with her name, and we asked just for some, something interesting about herself that she might want the community to know about her. She said, "I once took a trip with Ubisoft on their 4Player program to San Francisco in celebration of the future release of Watch Dogs 2. I built a display that showed animations of Watch Dogs related material and even built goggles that showed emojis like Wrench's mask. I'll share some pics and maybe a video if I can find it to Discord so people can check it out." She sent me the picture.
That's fucking
I'm not
cool.
sure. She's in chat right now. I'm not sure if she wants to post it in Discord for people to check it out.
Like with the
I can
goggles?
also do it. Yeah, I would love to see a picture of the mask. That sounds pretty cool. But yeah, she said she might be able to find a picture of that. So yeah, if you want to check that out, she might be able to post that in Discord. And she also says that new dragon tattoo movie is horrible. That's unfortunate. I did kind of want to see it based on the trailer.
Interesting.
But yeah, that's all I'm going to share with her today about Miss Elizabeth. But next week I will read off her top 5 games of all time, which is pretty interesting. And that number 1's an inspired,
Spicy?
spicy choice. Yeah, there it is.
Spicy?
Stop
So yeah,
spoiling things.
tune in next week. I will read her top 5 games of all time, and then we'll kind of read some more of her responses throughout the month of January. So thank you very much for supporting us on Patreon. If you are interested in supporting us on Patreon, you can find us at patreon.com/4Player. That is also where Nolan is now going to read questions that we are going to answer right now.
This is called a segue.
No, that's
Did I do it right?
You gotta have like the 2 wheels and then you fall over and stuff. All right, so questions from our patrons. Every week in Patreon, we post a thread where you can ask us any question you like. We got some interesting ones today,
Yes.
I will say.
It's funny, we were kind of late posting the thing, so Christmas and everything, and then but we got a pretty good, decent amount of questions.
First
and some of them
question.
are weird.
From Brandon. With 2018 coming...
Also, Brandon is a new patron.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
just
I
the other
missed-
day.
I missed the new ones.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you,
Brandon.
Brandon.
Very kind of you.
Thanks.
Thanks. With 2018 coming to a close, some could refer to this year as the year of God of War or Red Dead Redemption 2.
That is...
What epic game will be the game of 2019?
Ooh.
The Last of Us 2.
If
Epic game
Cyberpunk...
will be the game of 2019. Fortnite, obviously.
If Cyberpunk comes out,
Epic
then
Games?
that. But I don't think Cyberpunk's going to make it out next year.
I don't think it is. I hope it doesn't. I hope
I also
a little more
kinda-
time in the oven.
I also kind of don't think Last of Us 2 is going to make
Fuck
it either.
you.
I hope I'm wrong.
you.
Yeah, neither
In
of
your
those games
butt.
will be made by Epic.
What about Death Stranding?
I see what you
though?
did there, Crispy.
Death Stranding, the
I don't
package
think
delivery
Death-
simulator.
I don't think Death Stranding has a...
I'm pretty sure that's a baby delivery simulator.
I don't
I
think...
am fucking excited for Death Stranding.
Yeah, but how many of those games that we just mentioned do you think are actually going to come out?
There we go. Resident Evil 2.
No, we're talking about what big games are going to define 2019.
I don't think Resident Evil 2 is going to define 2019.
Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out in January,
No.
which feels weird to say.
No.
What, you think... Okay,
Hold on, let's hold off on Kingdom Hearts 3 for a hot minute.
We're
Let's
also
hold
not-
on. Let's hold off on Kingdom Hearts 3 for a minute.
okay.
You'll see.
Let's hold off on that hot 8 out of 10.
Okay, but here's... The question wasn't...
He's not wrong.
I'm not saying Kingdom Hearts 3 can't be an 8 out... There's nothing wrong with being an 8 out of 10 either. I'm just saying, like... Kingdom Hearts has some pretty rabid... Like, a pretty large, rabid fan base, and, like, I feel like that could elevate Kingdom Hearts 3 to being kind of like a 2019... A year-defining
Just because there's
game.
a bunch of people that like a game doesn't mean that's a game that's going to define the year.
I mean, I'm not saying necessarily it's going to be a defining game for us. It might be. I don't know. But it could be a defining game just in general.
I know multiple people who bought a PS4 for Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know multiple people who hated God of War. That
So
now
what game are
love
people
God of
going to buy? What's going to be the system seller in 2019?
Well, the problem is that the vast majority of the games that we know about in 2019 are coming out in the next 3 months.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
Then you got another 9 months to figure out what the rest of it is.
Ghost of Tsushima might make it out next year.
Days Gone?
That'd be cool.
Days Gone. I have a feeling Days Gone is not... I don't think it's going to be
Nick,
a
you
bad...
think everything's going to come out in 2020?
No, I don't... No, I'm saying that'll be out...
You think it's going to be bad?
No, I think it's...
It's confirmed for
I
April.
think it's probably going to underwhelm.
I think it's Death Stranding next year.
Next year, Death Stranding?
All right, let's move on. We spent too much time on this.
Yeah.
Necro Techno. My sister is alpha testing the new Harry Potter game. She works for Bloomsbury. Unrelated, how serious is a breach of an NDA? Very serious.
Okay, first of all, one, I don't. It can be serious, especially when you're not talking about when the consequences wouldn't necessarily be for you; they'd be for your sister.
Exactly.
Two, revealing that information to us is not necessarily worth risking your
Yeah.
your sister's
No
job.
one's gonna hear it.
Yeah. Our audience is relatively small, but my question for this is that that company he mentioned doesn't sound familiar. Is she working?
Because you don't know.
No,
Nick.
I'm
You're
saying
not
he's a
in
new
the
Harry Potter
know.
game, but I don't know if he's talking about that like big budget like AAA looking.
I think she is.
Or is she talking about that mobile Harry Potter game that's
think
supposed to
he
be like the
is.
Pokemon Go of Harry? Like,
Well, the
but
company
Harry
he
Potter.
mentioned might be the company she works for, and she's
Maybe that's a focus.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe
focus
she's
group.
play testing the game because she works for a company that.
An NDA.
Yeah.
That's what we're not- a non-disclosure.
The important thing here is that
agreement.
the important thing here is that you really want, especially when the consequences wouldn't necessarily befall you.
All right,
we're
Necro.
class-
Here's the answer. DM me the secrets. You'll be
If
good.
I can,
All right, let's move on.
We're skipping
Do
over
that.
one very important aspect of this.
No, we're not.
Are we sure we're
Do
not
that.
being trolled here?
No, just give your I hope we are.
He's not going to respond right
Give
now. What does it
your,
matter anyway?
Yeah, I mean this is like an anonymous leak, right? We don't know who this person is or who their sister is,
Correct.
right?
This could be Jeb Bush for all
We're
we know.
journalists. We have a duty to do this.
Please clap.
To tell everyone.
Please clap.
All right, let's move on. Next
Please
question
clap. We're
from
heroes.
Fuzzy Turd. You are forced to live in a video game universe of your choice. You must pick the universe based on food choices that are shown in game. No assuming your universe has specific items.
No,
you
no,
cannot pick GTA or anything that is too similar to our world. Try to go fantasy or
Monster
somewhere
Hunter.
that's very unrealistic. You can't choose a cooking game.
Monster Hunter.
My choice is Stardew Valley.
Monster Hunter.
I think Crispy's trying to say Monster Hunter.
I want to
What?
eat all the Monster Hunter food.
Crispy, that's cannibalism.
Yeah.
Yeah, that food, from what I've seen so far, it does look pretty good.
It's so good. Monster Hunter. Either that or Breath of the Wild's version of Hyrule.
Breath of the Wild takes way too long to cook anything.
Yeah, but I bet it's delicious.
What about Final Fantasy 15 though?
But that's pretty similar stuff to what we have. I
They
mean,
have fucking cup
then
of
it-
noodles.
that's true.
I mean that's true, but like
Yakuza. They have Mountain Dew
what about
and Dr. Pepper.
I always go to really?
Yes.
I always think of Muramasa the Demon Blade, but that's basically just sushi.
Yeah, that's true.
But like, there are demons in that
But I
world, so
like sushi.
that counts, right?
I guess.
I'm gonna go with Muramasa the Demon
They got
Blade.
demons, but the sushi's good.
I mean, just think about the question, though. I mean, you have
You have
to
to
choose
live in
the
this
world
world now.
based on
Yeah.
the food choices that you want to eat.
Monster
However, you're not thinking about the actual state of the world and what this world is.
That's
Like,
why I said Stardew Valley.
Monster Hunter.
Because the food
See,
in that
that's-
game looks really
that's
good.
a good safe
And then you
choice.
get to be a cool farmer.
By the way,
Dude, people in Monster Hunter live simple but happy existences.
While they're not being murdered by monsters.
Oh, maybe
Yes.
monster hunters get murdered by monsters, but I could be like a merchant. I could be like I could like sweep people's huts or something. I don't know.
All right, let's move on. Next question. Mr. Green Toast. Every New Year's Eve, someone will make a resolution to change some aspect of their life. However, I wanted to ask, what will you ensure will stay the same for you and not change going into 2019?
Well, I hope going into 2019 I will still be alive.
Okay.
that's good.
breathing would be good.
And I hope going into 2020 I will also still be alive.
All right.
That is something to hope for.
I'm gonna go with. I made it. One of my resolutions in 2018 was to set aside time to play some older stuff, and not focus 100% on playing the new hotness. And I think I did a pretty good job. I played like 15 games this year that weren't released this year. So I want to keep that train rolling. And I also want to make sure that I continue to read, as I've been reading a lot more.
Well, may I offer the suggestion of don't play a game you've played before previously. or
For an entire
make it be
year?
further back. Don't make it like the past couple years. Talk about like go 5.
Well,
maybe
I was
10
actually
years
going to say if I was to set a new or maybe amend my resolution for 2019, it would be to sprinkle in replaying some old games.
No one's got time to replay old games. Nick.
That's
There's so
my
many
point,
new
man.
games.
You do
Yeah.
have time. You just got to make the time. I'm not saying like a bunch, but I'm saying like maybe 1 or 2 games a year. Find some time to replay something you know you enjoy that you
like
haven't played in
Kingdom
a long
Hearts.
time. Yes, like fucking Kingdom Hearts, you bitch.
Like you're
I will fight you.
I say we next year amend the video rules so that our top 10 games can include any video games, and then it won't be a problem.
perhaps like the top 10 games of all time, maybe.
No, I just mean like every year, like the top 10 games I played in 2019.
That's what the Astro score is for.
But you can only
But
have
that's
one,
not
not
the
10,
same.
and that's an award, not
You
a
can
top
have a
10.
runner up.
You can also make a top 5. if you
Honorable
want.
mention.
Anyways, let's
Something not change. Ooh, that's tough. I started recently, maybe about a little over a month ago, taking Butters to the dog park almost every Saturday. I want to continue to do that. I've had fun, just like hanging out, talking with random people, just
Talking
about
with
whatever.
randos and your
while
dog.
Butters just like runs around, and I feel that that's.
a good use of your time.
Yeah, I used to kind of be like, that's dumb. And I think that's also because I kind of grew up with that mentality with other people around me, kind of like, they're dumb dogs. But now that I've actually kind of started doing that, I've been like, the last time we went, Butters, like, he likes to walk into the kiddie pools. He doesn't like play in them. He just likes to stand in them. But like, there's there, and like, he stood in the kiddie pool, and like another dog was approaching, and he like crouched down real low in the kiddie pool. And as soon as the other dog got close, he jumped out at him and then just ran away. He didn't like jump out and play with
What
him,
a
or he just
bitch.
jumped out and was like, rah, and then ran away. Like the other dog, and the other dog didn't really react. He was like, what the fuck? Like, okay. But yeah.
Butters is actually like on a whole nother level
Oh yeah.
than that dog was.
Oh yeah. Let's move on. We got more questions. We got
real quick, just
6 more questions.
Real quick interjection, Miss Elizabeth, our supporter spotlight.
Too bad.
Just posted a link in Discord in the general channel with a video of those goggles she mentioned with the
Nice.
emojis, and they're pretty cool.
All right, next question from Zero Skies. What high-profile game are you expecting to bomb, or low-profile game to be an unexpected hit next year?
I got 2 answers that come
I
to
have
mind.
4 answers for that. I think Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to be bad. I think...
like a bad game,
yeah,
or
but
it's going
not
to.
gonna bomb. People are gonna buy their shit out.
I get. Are we saying
It's
bomb in that
Disney.
it's going to sell a lot, or bomb in that it's going to be a bad game?
You negative Nancy.
Because like Justice League sold a lot of tickets, but it was a bad movie.
Sure.
But like, what makes you think it's gonna be a bad game?
I have a feeling
Is it just because
In my soul.
the state of Square Enix, you're like you don't trust them anymore?
a lot of reasons. You can't say it's. I'm not basing this on previous Kingdom Hearts games because I've enjoyed previous Kingdom Hearts games. I'm basing that on its development that we've known about, and then how Square Enix has been doing.
That's the most impassioned defense of Justice League I've ever seen. Justice League was all right.
In all caps.
I think Anthem's gonna not be amazing. I do think. I don't know. Do you consider Judgment like a sleeper?
Judge. Oh, you
Judge
mean
Eyes
Project.
or whatever?
Yeah. Well, I would say for the
Because
majority.
I think that's gonna. Be,
I don't.
a
I
lot of
wouldn't
people
consider
are,
that
like,
mainstream.
hyping
Yeah, I think that's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Days Gone is going to come out and it's going to be fine, but it's going to bomb financially.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think the sleeper hit of next year is gonna be a game that we haven't heard of yet.
Ooh.
Probably. I will also say I think Sekiro is probably going to surprise people.
I think that's pretty. I don't want to say widespread by now, but I mean, there's been a lot of events.
But I think
and
there's a
stuff.
lot of people who are not. I don't think a lot of people are getting excited about it because it's not Dark Souls, and I think it's going to come out, and I think people are going to be like, "Oh shit, this is fucking cool." I don't know if it's going to be like a huge financial success, but I think critically speaking, it's going to come out and be like, you remember how like Neo came out and people were like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's going to be like that.
Yeah. Okay.
And also, I hope Anthem is good because I don't think BioWare can take another hit.
It's true.
I would worry more about Respawn Entertainment's Star Wars game.
Yeah, but I don't even know if we're gonna. I don't think we're gonna see that.
I don't know
this
if we're
year.
gonna see that next
If
year.
we do see it, like I'd still be worried about it. 'Cause
Probably. I'm worried about it already.
EA already fucked over Respawn once.
I'm pretty much worried about any Star Wars related video game at this point because it's in the worst hands possible at this point. Anyways, next question.
Sorry, I was working on my 4-player minute. So next question from Umos: what kind of character stats roll?
Oh no!
Crispy's eyes perked. Is giving good fellatio dexterity, strength, or wisdom?
Wisdom.
I think it's dexterity.
Giving good fellatio?
Yeah.
I think it's wisdom,
It's
man.
definitely not strength.
It's
Let's
wisdom.
put that out right
it's-
here. It's not strength.
Yeah, we can eliminate strength altogether. Strength.
It's charisma.
maybe endurance.
Well, we had to choose from these three.
Yeah, but he's
Well, actually,
wrong.
wait.
It's charisma.
I've got. Wait a second. If we're talking about, okay, just assuming
Okay, the position.
the
What do you ask me to do?
assuming straight couples, right? We're talking if
Why
it's.
does it gotta be
Why
straight?
is it coming
I'm saying for the sake of the
Do
example.
straight people blow each other differently than gay people do?
Probably slightly.
All right.
I'm
just saying,
Think
I'm just
the
saying.
mechanics of
I'm
sucking
just
a
saying.
dick change depending on who's doing the sucking.
Okay.
But who's?
Okay. How about this? If it's fellatio being performed on a
I'm saying
man,
dick existing. In
if
the
it's
scenario.
fellatio being performed
Makes
on a
a
man,
difference.
dexterity. Fellatio being performed on a woman, wisdom.
No. No. It's charisma. It's a charisma based check.
That wasn't one of
You
the
are-
choices.
It's a charisma check.
Crispy gets a 0 because he didn't choose from one of the options.
What were the
What were
options
the
again?
options again?
Dexterity, strength, wisdom.
Oh,
I know you can make your excuse for charisma, and I'm not saying you're wrong.
Cunnilingus.
But you gotta do
It's
it quicker.
wisdom.
I guess it
because
has to be wisdom.
It's
yeah.
wisdom because you can put all you can involve every muscle in the top half of your body, neck, face, shoulders, back, whatever.
Knees
but
and
like,
toes.
if you don't know
What
if
you're
you don't know
doing?
what you're doing or like where you're going with it, it's all wasted, right? Like you could just lay there. I don't
Carlos just popped in chat and said grapefruit.
Oh my god.
Well, then in that case, it would be a little bit of strength.
Oh my god. Hey, look, DeFishies. I haven't seen that name in a long time. What's up, DeFishies? He just subscribed. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on. All right, we still got 4 more questions.
Given those choices, I say wisdom, but it's actually charisma.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The Soup Nazi. Question for Nick and Nolan. You both mysteriously and unwillingly switch bodies for 24 hours before heading home from a night out. You both agree to keep it a secret from
Oh.
your significants, but this means
no.
playing the role of another once you enter each other's homes. What would your game plan be for playing it cool? How would you get into the role of the other person? Note, you have also taken on each other's voices.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, I'd probably be a lot of, oh!
And you walk on your
A
knees.
lot of metal going on. Just,
Yeah, because that's what I listen to just to unwind.
Nolan
I mean, that's your
immediately
day.
gets down on his knees and stays there the whole time. To simulate the height difference.
oh, yeah.
Fuck all of you. Oh my
I think so. We
god.
switch bodies, so I mean, I'm already
I would.
shorter.
How
It'd be
about
kind of
this? I would
amazing,
not be able to play it cool.
I'm
I
pretty
don't-
sure I'd probably hurt my neck from looking up so much.
Oh, you guys are so mean.
I feel like Nick would spend like a good hour or two just reaching for things on the top shelf.
Guys, I have a step stool.
Oh, I just figured you wore stilts around the house.
No,
I'm just kidding.
I can't reach things on the top shelf, and I have a step stool. Okay,
How does
there's
Nick,
no shame in that.
how does Nick organize his sock drawer?
I'd probably feel
Trick question.
Like,
I don't.
I feel
I'd probably feel
I feel like
oddly
you do.
warm with so much hair on my body.
It's kind of nice.
Is it?
Yeah.
Do you shampoo your arms?
No, I wash my arms with. Damn. Next question.
But what do you
Next
use?
question.
Though? Do you use a body wash and shampoo?
Do you condition them?
Are you Do I use a body wash? Yes, I use a body wash and shampoo on 2 different parts of my body.
But no, like a combination product.
No.
Combination products
That's
are for
ridiculous.
12-year-olds.
That's ridiculous.
Just.
Moving on, SMG Sterling asks, has anyone ever tried to turn playing video games into a date? If so, how did it go? Games like Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time and Overcooked are good for breaking couples up. Not sure if it's good for building a relationship.
I remember a story you told, Nolan, about a date you went on, right? With
I did.
Pokemon Go.
I did.
Didn't you say you and Bernadette went on like an adventure?
Yeah, no. When Pokemon Go was big, me and her, like almost every night when she got off work, we would go out and like go exploring and together and
Find
trying
Pokestops.
Yeah, find the Pokestops and catch Pokemon and stuff like that. And then the other day we made a date to play Return of the Obra Dinn, and that went really well. I will say we did have a date to play Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time, and that went horribly. But we still made it out on the other side.
I don't think we've had a specific. I mean, we often sit down on the same couch together, and I play a video game, and she usually plays Candy Crush.
That game still exists?
Oh my god, she can play that game until she's blue in the face. It's ridiculous, and it's not even Candy Crush. It's one of those other ones on her
Mobile fodder.
On the. She does it all the time, but or it'll be the opposite. Sometimes she'll be playing like Red Dead or something, and I'll be in there on my laptop or something. But that's not really a date. That's just us hanging out while we're playing games. Neither one of us really play multiplayer games. Although the other day I came home randomly and she was playing Red Dead, but she was playing online. I was like, I didn't even know you. You've never played any. I've never seen you play anything online before. What are you doing? And she's like, I don't know.
You still haven't played Red Dead Online with
No, I
me,
haven't.
Nick.
I haven't.
Nick.
I know.
One time I was dating a girl who had a PS4, but she didn't have any games for it. So she was like, oh, you should bring over some games and show me what's on the PS4. And I'm like, okay. So I bring a bunch of games over to her house. We hang out. And I was like, oh, you should try this. I love this game. And it was Dark Souls 3.
Oh.
No. And
Oh my God.
So, you know, like the graveyard in the very beginning of the game?
Yeah.
Like, she couldn't really even get to the boss. And then when she did get to the boss, it killed her like 5 times. And then I never saw her play a video game again.
Oh, they say I never saw her.
Yeah,
again.
I was like, you
we
never
actually
saw her
stopped-
again.
We
The
stopped
deep
dating.
end of the pool.
We stopped dating very soon after that, and she borrowed my copy of Fallout 4 because she liked Fallout, and then she stopped talking to me and kept my copy of Fallout 4.
Ah.
And it was the fucking Steelbook one, and I was like, you fucking so and so.
You fucking so and so.
She did not like me at all.
All right, let's move on. Next question from Sherika. This year was amazing for games.
Yes.
Do you think 2019 will keep the momentum going, or do you think it will all dwindle? Happy holidays, fellas.
I think it will continue.
I think it's going to keep going.
I think 2019 will be better.
I think 2018 is a hard year to compete with.
How can 2019 be any worse than 2018?
Worse?
In terms of what? In terms of games?
Yes.
Oh, it was pretty good.
I would say I think it's going to keep going. I think every year, more so, we're getting better and better indie games, which I think is some of the cream of the crop out there. I will say that 2018 had a lot of really good AAA games, which 2017 didn't have as much. I said as much. I didn't say there weren't any good ones in 2017. But I think that's one of the things that I think has been happening year over year, as we're getting those, like Indivisible is going to come out next year, and I think that game's going to be fucking great.
That's one thing I do hope because I realize looking at my list of games I played this year, I played a lot of what you would call AAA games. Mm-hmm. Did not play as many indie games, and I'm hoping
no one here played Frostpunk.
Maybe that
fucking bitches.
Hey, real quick, just this is on an unrelated note. Chris Davis, you sent us the spreadsheet for like the videos we need to capture for and how many videos we need to capture for each game, right? You have it all color coded, right? So like if like 6 of us put Red Dead on our list, we need like 6 videos for Red Dead.
Preferably, yes.
For Frostpunk, we need 4 videos. And I was like, I'm pretty sure nobody here is going to put the Frostpunk on the list except for Nolan.
I'm just
That's
saying
racist.
that
only
was going
because
by
he's the
emails.
only one who played it.
That's what you people put.
Brad
Wait,
played it.
did Brad play it?
Brad played it.
Still,
I think
that's
Carlos
two.
might have. George, maybe.
George played it.
See, there's some other.
Really?
George is a smart fucking guy.
Really?
Nick. George is a smart guy.
Well,
Dude,
yes, there's
never
no
underestimate George.
There is no denying that. There is no denying that.
Seems like you are. All right, let's move on. Final question for the evening from
I
patrons.
stand corrected.
Wangless asks, would anybody care if I started the official Xbox Club for 4Player podcast? The last time I heard it suggested someone whose name rhymes with Schmick essentially curb stomped the idea, American History X style. There are at least 3 of us Microsoft fanboys that listen to the podcast, and you know you're going to want to be in that club when exclusives like Scalebound launch. P.S. I worded my question badly last week. I meant to say, quote, do big game devs care less than ever about users, not to question the point of capitalism and how business works. If you wanna,
I don't care
if you want to start
Do it.
what's the term? A club, an Xbox club for 4Player podcast, go for it. I won't be joining it.
I will join it.
Nick will join.
I can't promise I will be very active in it because once I finish Ashen, I don't know when the next time I'll be turning on my Xboxes. Although I did think the other day about maybe trying to play
Oh yeah, that game.
the Insomniac game
Oh, Sunset Overdrive?
Sunset Overdrive.
That's a really good game, man.
Yeah.
I do encourage it.
Yeah, by all means. And sorry, what was the second part of his question about the how what did he word improperly?
He meant to say, do big game devs care less than ever about users, not to question the point of capitalism and how business works?
Not necessarily.
I
think
if you're
big
talking
game
about
devs
devs
definitely
versus-
care about getting money from users. I do think
Yeah.
that's
No, they
true.
do care about that.
I think individual devs care about users. I think when ideas have to come together into a solid product, it's not about how one individual developer feels about users, and it becomes more of like, what is the best decision for the product as a whole?
Correct.
And that is often interpreted as they don't care about us.
Yeah, I
But-
mean, the creative pipeline, like the top end of that, stops pretty far below the top of like executive decision making in
Yeah.
most companies, especially in companies.
If you were to sit down with any developer, even companies that you would assume care zero about users, and as a lot of people do, like if you sit down with anybody from like EA gets mentioned a lot or whatever, if you ask any individual developer, I think you'd be hard pressed to find an actual single person who works on a game who would say they don't care about the end user.
yeah,
Like,
I don't think we've ever implied that that's the case.
Yeah.
No, like the problem is that like a big company like EA, the ultimate authority, like the person that everybody is held accountable to, are the shareholders. And do shareholders care about making money? That's the only thing they care about.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You don't buy stock in a company unless you think it's going to make money or you care about it making money.
Yeah.
I mean, this question's more apt for like the publishing side than the developer side. Developers, they just want to make their games and they want to make a good product.
They want to they want to express themselves creatively through video games. Publishers obviously are on a different side of the business, and an argument could be made that publishers maybe don't care as much about the end user.
Yeah.
Because they're not working necessarily on the creative side, at least not in the same way that developers are.
All right.
They're not getting their hands dirty, so to speak.
We got to move on because we have questions from our Twitch supporters that we got to get to.
We do?
Yes, we have 3 of them. First one, I'm not asking. We have technically 4, but I'm not asking that first one. First one comes from Thorax. Assuming Super Mario Odyssey and Assassin's Creed Odyssey were released in 2018, which of these 2 games deserves Game of the Year? Super Mario Odyssey.
Wait. Assuming Super Mario Odyssey and Assassin's Creed Odyssey were released in 2018, which one is...
So which
That's
is
what
the
I just
better
said.
Odyssey?
Which one's the better Odyssey? Super Mario Odyssey.
Super Mario Odyssey.
100%.
I mean, it's like comparing apples and oranges, man. But
no, it's not.
Mario
it's like
Odyssey.
comparing fun and boring.
but like they're both very good. I mean,
I'm being
You know what,
facetious,
but-
Nick. I've played Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Nick, I played Assassin's Creed Odyssey 2 days ago.
no, I did too. I did too.
Because I'm trying
It
to...
was hard to go back. I mean, it was hard to like remember how to play the game.
Yeah, the controls are a little
After
bit...
playing 120 hours of Red Dead, I had no idea what the fuck I was doing.
Yeah.
But I'll say Super Mario Odyssey just because
Yes,
Mario is
hands
so
down.
jam-packed full of
Dude,
different...
Super Mario Odyssey was fucking delightful.
Because there's so much variety.
There wasn't like a point in time in Super Mario Odyssey where I was like, what? It's going, what? I don't understand. That's definitely happened a couple times. And there was no point in Super Mario Odyssey where I was grabbing onto some giant testicles.
You did do that in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, didn't you?
All right, moving on. Next question from...
I was holding on to the tip. I don't know about you.
Just the tip. Uranium Bullet asks, so there has been a recent discussion over at Square Enix of the possibility of a Final Fantasy X-3.
Oh, God.
Yay or nay, and why?
Nay!
10 seems to be beloved entry in the series for devs, and even Titus's voice actor mentions on his podcast that he wants it to happen due to his love for the character. I know Final Fantasy VII Remake has priority and will come first, but I find it interesting that there was a dev discussion on this not long after Kingdom Hearts 3 went gold. There are threads on Reset Era, about it.
He says also, Nick, your wheezy laugh is contagious? I have a wheezy laugh?
I'm pretty sure I have a wheezy laugh.
What is a wheezy laugh?
My laugh can be wheezy. I don't know about yours.
Is he confusing our laughs?
Maybe.
Oh my God. Now every time I laugh,
I can't do it on command.
Oh my God, was that it?
No, that's breathing.
What is this? What happened?
Oh, Nick, are you just learning about breathing?
Oh my God, how does he survive this long?
All right.
So
the answer to the question is nay.
Nick doesn't want it.
Because
Dude, I thought 10-2 was pretty good.
I did too, but you know what?
I would take a 10-3 over anything Final Fantasy 15 related.
I don't want another sequel to an existing Final Fantasy until they can deliver an original
I agree with
Final
you on
Fantasy that is amazing.
That's good.
Like, come on, give me another Final Fantasy 9 or Final Fantasy 8 or basically any. Oh God, stop making sequels to Final Fantasy. The idea of Final Fantasy from the beginning was that every single entry is different.
Yeah.
Stop it, Square Enix. Fucking stop it.
I mean, but that was also from a time in which games weren't as big as they are in terms of
then
assets
they need
they had to fucking
I would
create.
take a scaled back. I would love another game that was designed and looked and felt similar to something like Final Fantasy 9. It doesn't have to be the most, like, it could look like oh my God, I'm trying to think of an example, like something, you know, like the game that came out last year, Hob. Remember that? Hob?
Yeah.
Like that was a beautiful looking game that like something on that scale with that a similar art style could be an amazing Final Fantasy. It doesn't have to look like ultra realistic. It doesn't have to be, you know, the most expensive fucking game in the world to be an amazing Final Fantasy game.
But is it cheaper to make a sequel without having to create all new assets?
Well, I'm saying, but they've made.
At what point?
Or is it more
At
effective?
what point should they just cut their losses and say, let's make something else?
Like at this point, if they made a third Final Fantasy X game, they wouldn't be reusing assets.
Yeah,
Definitely not.
Yeah, they'd be developing the whole thing.
No, they would.
It would basically have to be, they'd be remaking.
I'm talking in general with like direct sequels a few years later.
I think they've.
Only do it if you have a good idea.
They need to get
Yeah,
back.
there you go.
They need to get back on track. That's all I'm saying.
Is there narrative space in after Final Fantasy X-2 for them to make a 3?
That's worth exploring.
That's worth exploring.
I don't know how Final
I
Fantasy
never
X-2
played
ends.
10-2.
10-2 is great.
I never
but
finished 10-2.
10-2
That's actually been one of my... I bought it on Steam not too long ago, the remake, because I never finished it on PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
And it's one of the games I've been meaning to go back and play.
It's a great game.
I enjoyed what I played of it.
Now read the question you weren't going to read.
Final question. If you could erase one game... Oh, sorry, from Kenton. One game from your memory and play it over again, what would it be? He says, if I had to pick, I'd choose Diablo 2. That game was a magical time in my childhood.
See, my biggest fear with this is that, like, I'm a different person.
And so if
Exactly.
you erased it from your memory and replayed it, you wouldn't like it?
Or, like, the magic... Like, there's so many, like, wonderful gaming firsts I have that, like, are just lightning in a bottle moments of, like, oh, where I was at mentally, or, like, where I was playing it, or who I was with, or, like, what was going on in my life, and then, like, I played this game and it was, like, perfect, you know?
I know it's cliche to kind of to say you're, you know, a game that you are very
Stop
open
it,
about
man.
being your favorite game of all
Stop
time,
it.
but like
Don't you say it.
I would love to play
Don't you
Ocarina of
say
Time
it.
again.
You son of a bitch.
Sorry, I would love, and that is the game I know holds up and is still amazing, regardless of my headspace or my age or whatever. That game is.
Are you saying that as I would love to replay it as 30-something Nick or as like early tweens Nick?
No,
Exactly, because like I really think that makes a difference.
Because I think right now, if you're erasing your memory of Ocarina of Time, yet you've played Breath of the Wild, I don't think you're going to go back to Ocarina of Time and be like, this game is amazing.
If you don't have any nostalgia or any memory of playing that game when it was on N64, and you try to play it today, but you've been keeping up with games, like, it might feel weird. It might feel off.
I think one of... I'm gonna go two options. Okay. I think one would be The Binding of Isaac, and another one would be Rogue Legacy. I think those are two games that would still hold up right now. Yes. But you gain a lot of knowledge when you play them, and even just unlocking shit that I think would be fun to unlock and learn again.
See, I think like I would pick something. I don't know. I think I would pick something smaller that relies heavily on like the pure first time playthrough.
Her Story?
Like I think I would choose Her Story or Undertale.
Undertale. When are they going to come out with His Story?
I'm going to give another answer. I know this is maybe too soon, but I kind of feel like I would like to play Red Dead 2 again without...
That's too soon.
No, too soon.
Too soon.
I would say...
No, but I get what you're saying.
For me personally, if I was if there was the condition that the community for this game was doing the same thing and playing it again for the first time, and the service was still there, I would say Splinter Cell 3, Chaos Theory, because Splinter Cell Pandora Tomorrow was the reason I got broadband internet. First off. But that multiplayer experience for me, the hundreds of hours that I put into Chaos Theory and its multiplayer, just that community I experienced was tremendous.
Yeah.
And so if that was still there, if that was if it was still fresh, then boom. Yeah, I would jump on that.
That Chaos Theory is not one of my favorite games.
Fair enough.
But I can't remember what year it was, but we were in New Jersey and me and Burnett, I was staying with Burnett and her family, and we went to the Blockbuster. And we rented Chaos Theory. Yeah. And we played through the co-op.
Oh, you and Bernadette?
Yeah. It's really good.
I thought you were saying like we and the family went out
me and
came
Bernadette.
home with a copy of Chaos Theory.
From the Blockbuster. And that was one of the first games that me and her like kind of played together.
Nice.
It was unforgiving as hell.
Oh yeah, it essentially boiled down to her staying in the shadows while I took out the guards, and then her coming over to help me like prop up onto a ledge. But it was still fun
because everybody's argument here is about just the state of the game itself, just like as a base experience.
Yeah,
like multiplayer is a whole other beast to consider.
Yeah.
So
for sure. All right. Do we have any other questions?
That's all the questions.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for your questions. Like we mentioned earlier, if you want to support us on Patreon, if you support us at $1 tier or higher, you can ask us any question you want every week. Also, if you're a supporter on Twitch, you can throw your questions into the Discord, which is discord.gg/4Player. Either way, we appreciate your support and we love answering your questions. So get them in. I guess next week will be our first show of 2019. So make it. Next week is going to be our preview show. So the week after that.
Is that the award show?
I don't know. We'll eventually get back to doing a regular show in January. Ask us your questions then.
Yeah.
All right. It's time to wrap up the show.
Yeah.
Because it's getting late. We have to wrap up the show with the
Get out of here.
4-player minute. Hype, sweat, thank you, or fuck you, or any combination of those. Who's going to start us off? Usually it's Brad, but Brad's not here.
He's in
You're
Brad's
sitting
spot.
there.
Usually it's that chair.
Would you like to start us off, Chris?
I mean, I guess I can.
All right, cool.
Okay.
I need to write mine.
I'm actually keep it towards a minute. My hype this week is for God of War. I've been looking forward to this, playing this eventually because I always put off like a good one or two games that everybody loved in the year previous. I play them in December when I have a lot of time on my hands. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't expecting to really enjoy this much.
I don't think anyone was.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I think all of us were excited for it.
I think it took everybody by surprise.
I 100% agree.
Mm-hmm. I've been really enjoying it. I look forward to finding out, especially at the narrative point I've reached in this game. It made me go, oh, shit.
I want to talk to you about that after the feed. closes. Now that all of us have kind of.
I would like to have a discussion here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back and listen to the spoiler cast after. Yeah, I'm finally done with it. Second hype for me is January. Again, there's a lot of good shit coming out. Literally days from now. Oh my fucking god!
Let's do this. Let's postpone 2019.
I'm sorry.
Let's take every game release date and add 12 months to it. So we can finish all the fucking games we still got to play.
I could play Persona in that time.
Exactly. You
Bullshit.
could play Persona. I could finish Subnautica.
Just Persona. I could just play
I could finish Suikoden 2. There's so many games that I need to play.
Where are you going to fit in Kingdom Hearts? You said previously that you were going to beat Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 before you played 3. Buddy, that game is less than 30 days away.
You know what that means, right? It means I'm probably just not going to play Kingdom Hearts 3 at launch.
Oh. Chris Davis?
Yeah.
It's been over
anyway,
a minute. You failed.
I at least I'm keeping it close to a minute.
Okay.
Not anymore.
My sweat is the Game of the Year stuff because there's a lot of work we got to do and not a whole lot of time anymore.
You're going to have all my audio.
And I'm going to start yelling at people pretty soon to get shit done. And I thank you. No, I fuck you. No, I don't have a fuck you. I'm not thankful anyway. I'm an ungrateful motherfucker this week. My thank you goes to my job for giving me like a week and a half to get caught up on shit.
That's nice.
It's good to be in education, man.
It's a nice feeling.
It's really good.
Nice feeling.
There you go, Nolan.
All right. What
is that?
My 4-player minute starts now. My hype is for CrossCode. I've been kind of getting the I want to play it. Like I want to get into it. I want to play some. So I'm glad about that, and I'm going to continue to play that. Which kind of leads into. So let me do my thank first. It goes to Mr. Greentoes for gifting me a copy of The Messenger.
Oh yeah, thank you, Mr. Greentoes. He gave me a copy of Free Space 2.
Oh, nice. Which leads into my sweat, which is The Messenger. I'm currently stuck on a boss, and I'm not feeling the drive to continue with this boss.
Which one?
He has like a shield and a sword, and he kind of jumps around the room, and there's fire.
Oh, is he like the demon dude?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
The diamond dude?
Yeah, he's been giving me a little bit of trouble, and it's like, I don't know, like I'm just not like, I don't know, I don't have that drive like I had in Hollow Knight, that when I die, I'm like, yeah, I want to get back and fight him again.
In my opinion, he's the hardest boss in the game.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
So.
Which kind of leads into my fuck you, speaking of Hollow Knight, to myself. I ended up getting that on the Switch. And so the other day when I was having trouble with the Messenger, I just booted up Hollow Knight.
How do you think it feels on the Switch, Nolan?
It's fucking great, man.
Isn't it
it's
so
great
fucking
on the
good?
Switch. And I've been playing it in bed.
It's such a good bed game.
And like the thing is, I'm going up. I'm taking a trip this weekend, and I'm not going to bring my PS4, but I'm going to bring my Switch. And I'm probably going to play more Hollow Knight on this trip than I am the Messenger. Yeah, that's it.
Cool. Crispy?
Alrighty, alright. My hype this week is for Celeste. I'm gonna go home tonight, play a bunch of it. Because
That's good.
Fuck you. My thank you this week goes to Mr. Greentoes, who gifted me a copy of the Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Ooh.
I always think like Kingdom Under Fire.
Mm-hmm.
But Kingdom Come Deliverance, which was that big action RPG that came out earlier this year that Ed talked about when he was on the show, which has been really interesting to me, and I've wanted to play it, but I haven't picked it up yet. So Mr. Greentoast just bought it for me because, you know, he's a real fucking champ. He's a real champ, that
he
Mr.
is a champ.
Greentoast. So thanks, Mr. Greentoast. I love you. My sweat for this week is that now I've got another fucking RPG to play before end of the year.
Not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen. I don't know. I would like to play some of it to consider it for Game of the Year. I don't. You know what? That brings me to my my hype, my second hype. I forgot that was a category we already had. My hype is for my end of the year video because let me tell you something. I don't give a fuck this year. I don't give a fuck.
Wait,
I've been
I don't know how to interpret that. Are you going full Carlos or what are you?
No. I've been thinking of ideas and like things that I can do with this video, and like at a certain point I was like really worried about it, and I was like, oh, what am I gonna do for this video? I don't want to just do another half an hour of me talking about games we've already talked about. And I came up with some ideas, and I think they're gonna be fucking horrible, and I can't wait.
All right.
Not
cool.
horrible, but great, but weird, but horrible. I think it'll be great.
Cool.
It might not be great. We'll see.
All right. Thank you, Crispy. My hype goes to Resident Evil January. Resident Evil 2 comes out in less than a month, and obviously I'm very excited about that. But I'm also excited to replay Resident Evil 5 with Nolan, starting on the 7th. It's on the calendar, folks. I've had a lot of people telling me, ask me, when are you going to play Resident Evil 5? And I said, it's on the calendar. It's been on the calendar. Mm-hmm. January 7th and 8th.
Bitch.
Nolan and I will be tackling Resident Evil 5 together. Mm-hmm. So look for that.
Are you gonna call 7 from your list?
What?
Are you gonna call?
I'm calling 6 and 7 pretty much. I'm gonna play 6.
Oh, really?
I'm gonna try and play 6, but I'm not like.
Because you were determined to play all 4 scenarios at 6. So
yeah, I'm trying to get through as much as humanly possible before Resident Evil 2 comes out, and I'm gonna get through Revelations 2.
Okay.
And I'm gonna be happy if I get through that. Let's see. My thank you goes to also Mr. Green Toast, who gifted me a game that I was interested to try out, but I didn't have, and that's called The Council. It looks kind of right up my alley. I'm not sure exactly what it is yet. I mean, it's kind of like
with this game.
It's kind of like a.
The name sounds familiar.
Wait, what?
The name sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's like it's a very narrative driven game, but it looked pretty cool, but I hadn't gotten around to trying it. So thank you, Mr. Green Toast, for gifting that. I'm gonna give it a shot.
There's good reviews.
My other thank you this week goes to Bernadette, who made us some dope-ass warm butterbeer before the show that literally brought me back to when I went to Universal like 3 or 4 years ago. It was so good. Oh my god. I can't wait for y'all to share the recipe with me so I can make it every single day and drink myself into oblivion. And my sweat this week goes to my list, my top 10 list. It is all but complete. I am down to, I have my 1 through 9 figured out. My number 10 could go to any of 6 games, and I can't decide what that game is going to be.
What game did I like 10th most this year?
Well, it's really like, of these 6 games, which of these did I like more than all the others? And
honestly, I do think a lot of scenarios, my top 10 is not, this was, it is often, this was my favorite, and then here's 9 games that could be in any order after.
Yeah,
that honestly is a lot of my top 10.
But it's a hard year. It's been a really hard year to try and just pick 10. Like, there's a lot of really great games this year. I think it's a really solid list. Personally, I'm pretty pleased with it. I just can't figure out that last spot, so I'm a little worried about it. But I have 4 days to finalize it. 3 days.
Yes.
Though
I don't expect any of you to actually follow that rule.
I will. I don't know, but that's mostly because I'll talk to
actually,
that.
George is always good about form.
Because he's in the future.
George is in the future.
He's 6 hours in the future.
He's actually 6 hours late every year, but you have no idea.
He has so much time to figure shit out.
But yeah, that pretty much does it. Crispy, what are you sending me?
Stuff.
Dick pics?
Crispy's sending me like dick pics or something in Discord. Yeah. I don't know. It just keeps getting
pictures of my dick.
My phone keeps buzzing and it says Crispy's message.
No, I've been seeing him taking the pictures.
Yeah, I'm right over here.
Anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening. That's our show, and I think that puts a bow on 2018. Like I said, join us again next Thursday night. We'll be doing our 2019 preview show.
Next year?
Yes.
Oh, we'll be back next year, you guys.
Oh my god, I hate that joke so much.
Next year.
Oh god. Anyways. Join us next week for our 2019 preview show.
A week left of the year.
Oh my god. Don't forget to join us on Discord, discord.gg/4player. If you want to support us on Patreon, go to patreon.com/4player. We appreciate any and every dollar you send our way. And, of course, keep your eyes peeled for our 2018 top 10 list, which we'll start getting out here in the not too distant future.
Before February.
He says. All right. Thank you guys for listening. We'll catch you guys later. Good night.
Bye.